You know, I see people in here going, Big Sills is late. Whoa. Let me hook you up with something. This is Big Sills time. Big Sills is never late. How you doing? By the way, we start the program off as we always do with Big Sills. Wow, are we going, woo, knee deep, off the top rope. Off the top rope today. As you get ready for the Saints this weekend, NFL action starts tonight, week 3. The Jets, really Aaron Rodgers' first true home opener. Last year it was 4 plays. He gets those unpredictable Patriots. So we start week 3 tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that, bud. Wow. We went back and watched the 22, the all-22. Hey, this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable here today. So wait a minute. I'm going to put a public service announcement out here for you. If all you suck-ass Jalen Hurts lovers are out there and you want to defend him today, you better bring your A game. Because what we have is facts. Nothing but the facts, Big Sills. Okay? You better bring your A game. Hit the like button as you always do. Merrill Reese apologized to each and every single one of you. And he will join us at 5:30 today. So sorry, he said. And I said, Merrill, and I did what Xander said. I went like this. I go, Merrill, you don't have to apologize for anything. You don't have to apologize for anything. Okay? So we told him, we're here for you, 5:30. Xander at 3:30, and you get in where you fit in. That's right. Flexing goes like this. Or I'm awake or you. No problem, Merrill. He watches the show, and so do the Eagles. By the way, the Eagles are once again upset with me. They're upset with me. You know why? Because I called out their elf general manager again for not tooling that team right. Bargain basement linebackers is what I call them. That's what he does. There's not one redeeming player on your defense. Funny, I've been saying that the entire offseason. Howie thinks he's got a star. We're going to get into some of these players. Okay? Oh, look at Steve. Steve. See this right here? Aunt Betty, I'm going to use a bad word. Pussies are victims, not men. Ain't no victim here. Worms are victims. Steve, for another man to say that to another man, give that man a snowflake. There's no such thing. Ain't no victim. Victim. I wear that with a merit badge, bro. How you doing? Stop playing a victim. Yeah, that's what I do. I relish it, Steve. Playing one, I relish it. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the Philly bad guy. Me. Shut up, Prince. Do your job. Prince, do your job. I know Xander kisses your ass. Do your job. That's right, everyone. Throw Steve a snowflake. Whoa. Thank you, Devin. Everyone, throw Steve a snowflake. How you doing, baby? It's okay, Steve. How you doing, man? Hey, Steve, you better have your balls tied like a bull today, homie, because it's going to get a little bumpy. Hey, give my boy Steve a snowflake. He deserves one right out of the gate. Look at this, man. We're 5 minutes out of the gate, and I already got a snowflake. They're playing the victim. Victim. Hold on. You put my merit badge on. You know, like a merit badge like you have with the Boy Scouts. By the end of the year, I'm going to have my Eagle Scout. By the end of the year here, and all the shit that I've said about the Eagles, I'm going to have my Eagle. I'm going to become an Eagle. Okay. All my merit badges. How you doing? Look at all the people dropping snowflakes. Sorry, Steve. You get a snowflake right out of the gate. I didn't really mean it. It's okay, honey. We might take your snowflake away by the end of the program if you're a good boy. All right, man. I did watch the All-22. Holy cow, man. This is going to be a rough day today. And I mean, this is going to be like, I should wear a mask today. On where it's going wrong with Hurts. My response, I listened to his press conference from yesterday, but I'm going to start this out by saying this. Hey, Howie. Bryce Huff can't start versus the Saints. He can't start. He can't start. You cannot start him. I don't give a shit what defensive front you go to. Vic, you cannot start Bryce Huff. He is unplayable. Howie, your $51 million project is like one of those stupid windmills. It ain't going to power a city. That's not going to happen. Bryce Huff is not playable. He's not playable. Okay? He's not playable. But you know why he's going to play? Because Howie paid him. There lies the problem right there with your structure of how you do business. Bryce Huff's not playable. He's a guy you cannot start. That guy could not start on any football team in the National Football League. He could not start anywhere. He couldn't play in Carolina. Now you know why the Jets walked away from him. He was a situational pass rusher. Boy, dude, that guy is 17.8, and you thought that Hassan Reddick wasn't worth $5 million more? This is Howie's biggest fuck up in 4 years because of the amount of money and moving off of a legitimate pass rusher. This is a colossal disaster. He's getting thrown around by running backs. Go back and watch it. He is god-awful. Howie's not getting killed enough. You know why? Because they're afraid to ask the question. Is there any thought of benching Huff? There's no thought of benching him. How can Vic roll that guy out against the Saints, who are killing people? You do a disservice to your football team. He's not playable. I don't care who you put out there. Bryce Huff, if he starts on Sunday versus the Saints, that's a Howie call. Because no coach in his right mind would put a player out in the first 8 quarters of the season. It's not the fact, by the way, it's not the fact that he's just not getting there. It's the fact that he cannot set the edge. That guy cannot set the edge. That guy cannot play the edge. That guy can't tackle. That guy can't cover. There's nothing redeeming about his game. that's playable. There's nothing. I mean, when Hassan struggled, when he first got here, he still was having hits on the quarterback. This guy has nothing. He's not playable. He's not playable. This guy's on roller skates. I went back and thoroughly broke down the Falcon and the Atlanta game because of Hurts and the defense. Those are your two issues right now. Still a take for, skated by the Packers, lost to Atlanta. We get a 50 burger on us. Super Bowl aspirations a joke at this point. Dude, just let's go. Stamp it. Bro, you got balls, right? No, hey, listen, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Vic said impressed today. I'm going to take the lead of the defense and teach them technique, formation, hinting coaching's been bad on defense. Hey, Xander, give me the one before this. By the way, all super chats go to the front. We had another one before Abe. I don't want to miss it. Bryce Huff received the Sileo Award. He's not performing well in the NFL, but at least he got paid. Titty Booyah, pick up your titty. I did get the $10 one. Thank you guys very much. By the way, these things are ripping through here, and we really appreciate you guys coming aboard with us here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, Prince. Teaching technique in his 6th year. Vic Fangio's got to teach technique to a guy that you get this. He didn't really say that. He couldn't have said, I got to teach Bryce Huff technique. And you paid him $17.8 million. Holy shit. Coaching ain't fixing that. Coaching can't fix that. He can't fix it. He cannot fix. Coaching can't fix getting killed. Vic is making an excuse. Okay? I mean, we'll help him out in technique. Technique's not fixing that. Huff will start for the same reason Bradbury did. Anthony's right. How he paid him. They will never bench a paid by Howie player. Always been that way, always will. Yeah, he's right. He's dead right. God forbid. He's not playable. He's not a good player. He does not do one thing well. He's not even pass rushing well. I mean, I would play him if he was hitting a quarterback because you really don't. BG's your best edge rusher. A 35, 36-year-old player is your best player. I watched that film. Good night. He's a liability. And he will be a liability. Get this. How many people watched Dallas Cowboy Saints game? And did you see what they were doing to the Cowboy edge rushers? Kamara wasn't getting touched. Well, these two guys, by the way, let's extend it. You know what Nolan Smith is saying right now? Thank God Huff sucks so bad and he's being paid so much because the focus isn't on my play. He's just as horrible. Nolan Smith and Bryce Huff are the worst edge rushers as a duo in the league. You're welcome, Howie. You have the worst edge rushers. That can't be fixed. and they're undersized. You're smaller this year than you were a year ago. There's no fixing this with those guys. Scheme? I thought Vic said that schemes don't make great defenses. Teaching technique, coaching. Players do. You ain't got the players, Howie. Your offense is going to have to turn this thing up big time. You know you guys are 6th in total offense right now? You're 6th. You're 6th in total offense. You could never tell by the way they're playing. You're 6th because of Barkley. You want to hear something that's even more troubling? The Eagles are giving up 6.9 yards per rush, the worst in the league. All the things we checked and said to you guys, hey, this has not been addressed. You know what? Hey, Xander, everyone, I don't know if you guys are tired of talking about 23, but why are you losing games the same way as 23? Why are you losing games the same way? If you guys want to move on from 23 and not mention last year, well, why are you losing games the same way? Why are you playing defense in certain situations the same way? Hey, I want to go back to one thing that Nick Sirianni said at his press conference. You know how he says he leans on analytics? Are you using applied analytics? Do you know what I mean by applied analytics? Or are you just using analytics as the metric and how you go about picking plays on that situation? See, to me, analytics comes down to applied analytics. I'll use it here when I need it. And sometimes I won't. I don't want to be beholden to an analytical department where I'm picking my plays out of your hat that have nothing to do with the feel of the game. I mean, this is poorly done and poorly run. Analytics should be applied when needed, not the approach in general. It's a flawed mentality. No matter how good your coordinators are, it won't work. Huff is worse than small hands Pickett. Relative. Not to excuse the DL at all, D-line, but if you never blitz, doesn't it make it easy for the offensive line to know who to block and double team and also allow 5 receivers to go into every pattern and mature the pattern too, relative? Right. But wait a minute, relative. You knew that when you hired him. You knew that. You knew that when you hired him. So you needed to get the personnel to play a cover 2, Tampa 2 type defense. You can't play a Tampa 2 without linebackers. Tony Dungy will tell you that. If you don't have the linebacker play, you can't play cover 2, deep high safety. It's impossible. It is impossible to play that style of defense. But see, here goes again. We go right back to the same scenario of a year ago. You hired Desai and Brian Johnson knowing fully well who they were. And get this, you think it's the coordinators. It's the guy picking the freaking talent. It has nothing to do with the coordinators. You know he doesn't bring pressure, okay? Well, that means you have to have a pass rusher and an edge rusher. Why'd you pass on Brian Burns? Because you didn't want to pay him. You thought it was more important with a guy with 2 years remaining on his contract because he was fucking crying in A.J. Brown. You thought you would address A.J. Brown's situation more than you thought about dressing a pass rusher. Well, let's go back onto that comment. Everybody, including Xander, ripped me on that, and I went like this. Wait, what do you think was a more pressing need? Addressing 2 years remaining on A.J. Brown's contract or addressing an edge rusher? Well, here we are. An edge rusher. No pressure. Can't play the run. Same shit as 23. But you had to go and address A.J. Brown. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're in the same shit you were a year ago. I get Devontae. You had to address that. Thank God. Hey, by the way, I'm wrong on Barkley because he's the thing saving your ass now. Okay? Barkley has been great. Barkley's the MVP of the team. Saquon Barkley's the MVP. You want to kick his ass for dropping the ball? He's the only fucking reason you're 1-1. He doesn't play in that Packer game. You ain't winning that. Barkley, you were right, guys. You were right. Barkley's a player. Barkley's a player. You're right. Saquon's a player. Now, the question for me will be, can he last with all the workload that he's been given? Because it's a lot. How many, what is it now? 46 carries in 2 games? He'll never hold up to that. You got Jalen Hurts at 26 carries in 2 games. You're back to 22. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Because that's how you win games. It's 22. We're going to get to Jalen here in a minute. But all the things you addressed, the contract extensions at the receivers, and like I said, I get the Devin or Devontae Smith one. I don't get the A.J. Brown one. You didn't have to address it. These wide receivers that you have on these teams like Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown and all that shit, I understand why Minnesota had to do it. It was the 5th year. These wide receivers that demand these new contracts aren't helping your fucking team. That's why most teams move off them. Funny, isn't it? Green Bay's better. Buffalo looks better. Kansas City's better. Why? Moved off Hill, moved off Stephon Diggs, and moved off Devontae Adams. How can that be? How can that be? And right here, get this. He says, like Ayuk, quarterback ain't making $50 million. Deebo Samuel won't be on that team next year. What's the one common denominator that you have with these Hey, it's because they knew they were paying Love. Love makes 50. Allen makes 50. They all moved off the top receivers. Quarterback in San Francisco makes $890,000. $890,000. Hit the like button, please. You addressed, how many times did we say this? You know what I feel for guys like Xander and all the Eagle fans? You really thought you addressed your defense. I knew full well you never did. I knew the whole time you never did. I didn't think Davis and Carter would be this pathetic. I did not think they would be that pathetic. Our edge rushers are punks. They're getting flat out bodied at the line of scrimmage. This is going to be such a long season, man. Because of the fact they can't stop the run. You know what that's going to do to your offense? It's going to force them into 3rd and longs, and you're going to be throwing the ball, and he's going to have – I'll guarantee you one thing. The over-under, in my opinion, on Hurts is 15 interceptions this year. That's the number. He ain't having single-digit interceptions this year. That guy's going to be right around 15 again. Get ready for it. Yeah. Wait, get this. I've never flipped on Davis. I think he's okay. Get this guy. Tell this guy he's lying that I've cooked this guy's ass the whole time. You keep flipping on Davis? Since when? Since when? When have I flipped on Davis? Dude, you fucking hear what you want to hear. I've never been a fan of that guy being a big-time player. When have I ever said that? I said Carter. I said Carter. Sales, Howie does not get scrutinized enough on camera. This is his baby. Why is he never in the hot seat? He should be answering for the bus he's got out there. Absolutely. You know why? The Philadelphia Eagle propaganda machine by Hair Bob Lang would rather throw a coach under the bus than Howie. You know how I know that? You know how I know that? Let me read you something. Let me just read you something here. Let's see here. You guys will like this. Screenshots. Here we go. Let me go down here. Pull up this Bob Lang special. Let me pull up this Bob Lang baby. I'm going to pull this one up here. You guys will like this. I'll show you exactly why. This is a text that was sent to me. Here we go. I know that you've been reaching out and text messaging Nick Sirianni. My question to you is, why, with you being so critical and saying negative things about Howie Roseman, would I put the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles on when you're so critical of the general manager, Bob Lang, head of communications, Philadelphia Eagles? I saved it. I sent it to Joe Krause and Xander Krause as well, in case you want to ask them if that's true. You know what my response was? Hey, Bob, I don't fucking want the GM on. I want the head coach on. I was given the cell phone number by Frank Wright. There. I wasn't ever going to read that, but that was a text message sent to me. That was the first beginning. You have to remember something. This is not an Eagle thing with me and Bob Lang. Bob was a piece of shit when he was with the Niners. And he tried this shit because I was great friends, and I am great friends with Ed DeBartolo and the York family. And he didn't like that. So this is a 20-year thing. That's why he hates my show. Because I've had an ass with him and he has with me for 20 plus years. When I was on KMBR and then the ticket in San Francisco. He got in the middle of me texting Nick Sirianni. And Nick was going to come on. Bob stopped it. Facts. That's why they don't criticize Howie. Media people are told to stand down. So when you hear those people at IP and the Fanatic and not the Inquirer so much, but when you hear that, they've already polluted those stations. The Eagles own them. Bought and paid for. Especially IP. Bought and paid for. You want access? Why do you think ESP has access to the building? Why? Because he was kind to Deshaun Jackson? Why do you think they have access, WIP, to the Eagle sidelines? Why? Because they protect a guy who was accused of sexual harassment? Surely you're smarter than this. Surely you're smarter. That's why when you come here now, and people are flocking here. I mean, we just say it as it is. Hey, Howie, do you regret signing Bryce Huff? Guarantee you he says no. He can't play the run, let alone let's just get away from the pass rush. That guy looks lost. He doesn't know what he's doing. There's not a chance in hell that guy will get better. No way. Even Robert Saleh knew that. Even Robert Saleh knows that. $49er goes, Eddie DeBartolo is forbidden to come back to the 49ers. Is that correct? I think that's been lifted since his induction into the Hall of Fame. I think that's been lifted, but I don't think he has, for a 49er, I don't think he has any ability to have any insight into the direction of the team. I think that was one of the parameters since he got involved with the governor of Louisiana with the gambling, that he had no say in the direction of the team. Now, I don't know, because if gambling now is a major part of the NFL, if that's lightened up a little bit. I know he's been at
Lost Big Sills for a second, everybody. I'm going to take a commercial break and see if I can get Sills back up. I think his internet cut out. Sorry about that, everybody. Quick commercial break, and then we'll be back. Let me call Dan and figure out where he's at. Sorry about that, everybody.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also.
I got him back. Sills, you back, brother?
Yeah.
All right, I got you back. You ready to keep rolling?
Yep. Ready to keep rolling.
Go ahead, man.
All right. Hey, we just got word that Howie Roseman was trying to end the program early for you guys. But here we are, and here we're back. Okay? Please hit the like button. I'm sure you love that move. There I was, and it was empty. And I'm like, what's going on here? Howie Vision, baby. Kenny, hilarious. I got it, man. I got it. Hey, maybe you know what that did? Can I tell you what that did? That lightened up the situation a little bit. Bob Lang tapping into his internet. The Howie Deep State at work again. Hey, look at this. One of the very few times today I'll agree with Prince. I told Sills to shut up. Very good. Hey, you know what it did do? It at least lightened it up a little. It at least lightened it up. All right, let's continue. Because it was getting a little too serious there. That's why you guys are asking the question. Why don't they put why don't they put Howie Roseman more in the bullseye? Why don't they? You know, hey, do me a favor. We'll move on from this topic. Please hit the like button here. Guys, Prince, why do you think they don't put Howie front and center, the Philadelphia and national media? Why don't they? Why don't they, you think? Why don't you think they put Howie more on the hot seat? Dude, Nick Sirianni, who gives a shit about him? Howie's the guy that built your defense. You're going to fire another coordinator? When does it get to a point when you're done firing coordinators? They need to. The Philadelphia Eagles run the city. They do. Hi, Dan. Mr. Laurie's holding that. Here he is. Where's James? Folks, hey, Dan, Mr. Laurie's holding this organization back. He won't hire a real GM and relies too much on analytics. James is right. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't want shit talked on Howie. So Bob Lang, PR, Hair Bob, he has been instructed to make sure media people don't ask him. I have a text message from Bob Lang himself. I should post that one day. You want to fire JAKIB up a little bit with the Eagles? I should post that. Because get this, Xander and Joe Krause have it. I sent it to him. We should post that bitch. Take out all the emails so it's compliant with X. See how they react to that. This is how propaganda works in media in Philly, right here. I'm not putting on the head coach with you because you're negative towards the GM. You know what Joe Krause said to me? You're just talking football. I don't know Howie Roseman from a can of paint. I wasn't being personal. Keep it up, Bob. I'll post that fucker. You fuck with me one more time, I will. I'll show you what an asshole he is. You want to start something with me? You got the wrong dude. I don't give a shit who you are, Bob. Because you know what? This platform, like Xander said, you can't regulate it. You have no say in this. You have no say. Get this. My cat can start a YouTube channel. You understand that? My cat can start one. Why are you so upset with Big Sills on YouTube? Little old me. Who's the best player on defense? Why isn't me? Well, if you're not made of paper mache and you were out there during training camp, Cooper to hurt, you'd be helping your football team right now. That's why. Instead, you were Cooper paper mache. By the way, I got 3 cats. All right. Let's get into our guy, Jalen Hurts here. Not speaking to the team, but what I've seen in 8 quarters of football so far. Oh, this is going to be great today. Be prepared, dudes. I'm talking to Joe and Xander. Because if I get any more shit, the next thing that I post at Dan Sileo Show will be that fucked up email or text message he sent to me. And I'll show you how ridiculous that organization is and how petty they are. You keep it up, and I'm going to show everyone what an absolute asshole that guy is. Keith Bob. Kiss my ass. All right. Give me a grade on Hurts' 8 quarters of football so far. By the way, you guys are awesome. You know why? You fuel their hatred, not me. Bob already knows who I am. You understand that? The more people that come here, the more people you tell to come to JAKIB, the more people that you tell to come to this show, the more that fuels the hatred that the Eagles have for this show. Do you understand that? They control you on WIP. You know how they control you? Do you know how? Call screeners. Man, post that shit then. Don't be Mitch. Call screeners. You know what a call screener is? This is Dan from South Philly. I want to get into Howie's ass about something. No way. Click. Hey, I want to praise Howie. Line 3, you'll be up in 10 minutes. What's the question you have? I want to tell him what a great job he's doing. by the contracts and everything he's doing for the team. Take call 2. That's how you do it. I was in radio for 27 years. I know exactly how they do it. Hey, Prince on line 2. He wants to kiss Nick Sirianni's ass and tell him what a great job he's doing. And he thinks he's getting too much blame. Line 2. This is Twiz. I want to get into the owner here and tell the owner why he needs to hire a proper GM. Not happening. That's what happened. Yes. So let's get into Jalen Hurts. Give me a grade for Jalen Hurts. First 8 quarters. C. Okay. B minus. C. Why would you say? I didn't say that to you, Prince. C minus. If I did, I didn't mean to. C. Mediocre. Okay. I went back and watched the 22. D, Sills. Wait, by the way, where are we on the like list? Please tell me. Love to know. By the way, outstanding stuff yesterday. Outstanding stuff all week long. Outstanding stuff the first part of the season. I can't thank you guys enough for what you guys have done. Thank you again very much. Give me a heads up. We're at 113. Fantastic. We're on pace here. We still got time to get up to about 140 by the top of the hour. Thank you, guys. All right. Here's what I've seen. And you know what, guys? After I put this out there about Hurts, do me a favor. Tell me if you think give me a grade. How about this? Give me a grade now on my take on Jalen Hurts, what I've seen after 8 quarters. Okay? You give me a grade. All right. Just bad decisions. When you watch the 8 quarters, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to give you prediction and predictability again in what he's doing. Bad decisions and inability to read defenses. Dotson was open. Goddard was open. What happens immediately? He's leaving the pocket too soon and running right. Leaving the pocket, running right. Leaving the pocket, running right. He's a first read guy. And some of these passes, even on the first read, are open. Guys are open. I'm going to say this about Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's offense is really good. He has designed these guys to get open. This offense that Kellen Moore has designed for Jalen Hurts doesn't combat with the ability that Hurts has to utilize this offense. The routes are good. They're actually more creative than they were a year ago. You have a better offensive scheme this year than you do a year ago. The routes look more mature. They look cleaner. His pocket presence is terrible. Why is he running out of the pocket so quickly and so predictability to the right? How many times did he leave the pocket and throw the ball away? There were guys open all over the field. They were open all over the field. All over the field. I mean, he does not excel in the basic reads. He is not excelling at being a pocket passer. The easiest throws, he's not excelling at that. I mean, his confidence in the pocket looks shot. Doesn't look shot. It looks underdeveloped. Here, Cody answers the question of why he played well on Monday night. So if Hurts can't progress, why did we pay him all that money? You paid him for the guy that we saw to some extent on. Isn't it funny? Cody, when they lost A.J. Brown, what did they do? They resorted back to Jalen Hurts' strength. They didn't continue to evolve him as a pocket passer. They went back to running the ball 13 times a game. Doesn't that tell you something? As soon as A.J. got off that field, they went back to 22 style. I'll say this too. There's certain coaches in the NFL that are aggressive and do a great job at being aggressive. Then there's certain times you watch Sirianni, this guy looks like he's just winging it. Like ego and shit. It's not well thought out. Like the process is not thought out. I mean, analytics, like I said, situational analytics is important. He's a one-read quarterback. It's still in existence. He has not developed. Now, he's gotten better on the blitzes. He's gotten better on the blitzes. PI thinks sales grade A+, sees bailing Hurts. That's what it is. He's bailing. Like he's running out of the pocket too soon. Why? You got guys open all over the field. Can you not see him? There were a couple times Dallas Scott had trouble getting off the line. But majority of the time he was wide open. I don't understand what's happening here. I think that offense is too complex for him. That Dak Prescott offense, he can't run it. They need to simplify it more. Because you got guys wide open everywhere. That game should not have been. Here, guys, I guess what I'm saying to you is that game should not have been close. That game should not have been close. No way. Jalen gets impatient in the pocket. O-line's still great. Absolutely. Moore's play design on the 4th and 4 was brilliant. It was. Where did you see those guys? I watched it 5 times, didn't see that. I'll rewatch it now. Go ahead, rewatch it. Rewatch it. Especially down in the red zone. Watch him bail right. Prince, you can keep making excuses for the guy. But you take one piece off that football team, especially in the passing game, he looks very common. Why is he bailing right all the time? Why not change it up a bit? Make it unpredictable. Call 1. Thank you. Joey, Dotson has been open, Both games, no, Jalen doesn't see him. Cosell pointed it out. I watched that right before I went on and after we watched the 22. He sees the same shit. Absolutely. I don't think you have to be that hard not to. Okay? Okay? Even Cosell said the same thing. The guy's wide open. Thank you, Prince. He goes, there's guys everywhere that are open. Hurts doesn't blow. He does not blow. Okay? He doesn't. He's a good football player. But that offensive design by Kellen Moore is not helping him. Trust the O-line. It's been the best he will ever have. Absolutely. Hurts did not read the cornerback blitz when Bates was coming in, but still made a play running out of the pocket to get Smitty the ball down the field. That's what he's really great at. When he would have thrown a quick pass to Dotson for an easy grab. He's leaving that pocket too soon, in my opinion. He's just leaving that pocket. Jeffrey looks at the clueless fans as a GOIM will sucker them every year, give them crap on the field. They will still come in line as pockets. They do everything right except the last championship things. Dude, when you had the proper coaching, look what coaching did for you. You won with backups. Doesn't that at least tell you something? When you have quality coaching on the field? That 2017 team did not represent Howie Roseman. It represented Doug Peterson. It's the last time a football team in your city had the personality of its head coach. Am I wrong? Let Jalen run a Raven style. Oh, let him run the 22 offense or the offense I saw on Monday. You're going to win a ton of games doing that. Or are they turning him into something he's not, just like we did with Wentz? Anthony. Remember when I told you, Anthony, they're coaching him the same way they coached Wentz? They are. History's once again repeating itself. They think they know better when they don't. Let the coaches be coaches. Let GMs be GMs. Why does everything have to be under one umbrella or in one sandbox? Why can't you allow a coach to develop a player? Hey, let me ask you something. Do you actually believe that Les Snead, Kevin Demoff in Los Angeles is in any way, shape, or form involved in how Sean McVay deals with Matthew Stafford? Do you think in any way that Brian Gutekunst in Green Bay is involved with Matt LaFleur in developing of Jordan Love? Do you think Andy Reid sits down and asks Brett Veach what he thinks Patrick Mahomes should do on 3rd and 3 with minutes left in the game? Think he asked the general manager any of that? Big Sills, Hurts needs a constant coach. What he needs is someone to have the front office have its boundaries. The front office has no boundaries. Look at the defense. Look at the defense. That defense is the responsibility of that defense being where they are right now lies at the feet of one guy. Howie, because he empowered him. That defense, without a doubt, make no mistakes, is at the feet of Howie Roseman, not Vic Fangio. You fucking knew who he was when you hired him. But you still refuse to get the pieces that he needs and requires to run that high too. Why didn't you get Justin Simmons? Hey, do you think there's any coincidence when A.J. Brown went out that Jalen Hurts didn't have one plus 20-yard pass down the field against the Falcons? Why? Because you had Bates and Simmons. Because you had two high safeties that could actually play. Defense has caught up to the offense this year. No, I think the offense, in my opinion, is a little bit too complicated for Hurts. His skill set. Not his brain, his skill set. Sills, you said this before. He's not a classic drop back guy. He still looks lost going through progressions. His value is in the RPO. That's what he got paid for. Hey, Charlie, how simple of a statement can you make, and how complicated can the Eagles make it? Look how complicated the Eagles have made that statement by Charlie. I've never been a Hurts fan, but now people are, to see what I've seen since day one. Big Sills, keep up the good work. Dennis, thank you. Thank you for being here, Dennis. Yeah, you're coaching the guy the same way you coach Wentz. With lesser talent. Hey, get this. Here's the thing with Wentz. With lesser talent and lesser coaches. Carson Wentz never had a shot. When you have analytics. Here. This is what we learned in the first 2 weeks of the Eagles. Hurts is running an offense that's a little bit complicated for him. Do you guys remember I told you this was going to take some time for him to adjust to this? Remember Hurts even saying it himself. This is 95% brand new. Thank you guys for all the super chats. You're blowing it up. Guys, do me a favor. Please, we're at the top of the hour here. Please tell me where we are in the like hits. Stills, I agree 1,000%. Jalen doesn't consistently stay in the pocket. He's seeing ghosts. Also, every time he scrambles, there is someone open. Every guy. You had 3 guys open when he scrambled. 136. You guys are killing it today. Way to go. Okay? Dude, if Jalen Hurts runs what he did like against Atlanta Monday, you have a shot. Why? Tell me this. How in the world can you dominate a football game? With time of possession, you've dominated the first 2 weeks of the season with time of possession. How are you not blowing teams out? Why are you not blowing teams out? Your defense and Hurts' inability to see the open guy. You not being first in offense right now is atrocious. You're 6th right now. You should be 1. That's what we've learned here. So what he has to learn the plays. You know what, Ekbar? He has to have reps with the plays. Okay? He's got to have better footwork, create passing lanes, pass protection, timing, and pockets. That wasn't going to be a 4-month fix. Let me show you something here. That is absolutely fantastic on how you teach a quarterback. And what I'm not a Ben Roethlisberger fan, but when Ben Roethlisberger dropped back, he wasn't looked at going up the field vertically when he had the sprint. You know what he did so well in the pocket? He would slide his feet and he would create passing lanes in the pocket. He wasn't looking to go front door, back door, side door. He was staying in the pocket because he knew that's where his bread and butter were. Roethlisberger slid his feet and opened up passing lanes. Hurts can't do that. He bails. He bails. Akbar goes, Sills, he's had 4 years of reps, 4 years of different systems and different expectations. Dude, he is never going to be, hey, screw that with Josh Allen. He'll never be Brock Purdy at this rate. He is never going to develop into the person that they want him to be. Just let Jalen, hey, let me ask you this. If they don't allow coaches to coach, what makes you think they're going to allow Jalen to play his game? Do you ever think of that? A coach can't be a coach in Philly because you got to go through the analytics department. Got to go through the analytics department. Okay? What would make you think they're going to allow Hurts to do what he does well? Brock Purdy's not cooling off. That's a lie. He's not cooling off. I think he's second in completion percentage and passing yards. Sills, are they even working with him to stop rolling right and slide his feet instead, or are they okay with the habit? Get this, Matt, if you and I can see that, don't you think coordinators roll him right? You know what's going to happen? If the first read's not open, he's going to throw it out of bounds. Or he's going to throw a pick across his body. Dude, he is as predictable as a year ago. You know what? You guys keep telling me not to bring up 2023. Why is he looking the same stuff and looking exactly like 23 with an entirely different offense? Maybe it's because you changed the offense, but it never changed the driver. He's still doing the same fundamental mistakes in games. Late on throws, one read, roll right. And when AJ's not on the field, it's exposed. Will he be better and the Eagles better when AJ's back on the field? Absolutely. But this exposes him. It exposes him. Jalen Hurts is exposed when A.J. Brown's not on the field. Mightily. Get this. This is not hate. This is just watching the film. Just watching the film. It's not, honest to God, it's got nothing to do with my thoughts on it. And it's just late on throws, one read, first read, roll right, Devontae. Rest of it, he can't find Goddard. He can't find Dotson. He's not gotten better. Now, Jalen says the reason he's gotten better at picking up blitzes is because he has the autonomy in setting the line protection. I buy that. I buy that totally. He has an understanding now where it's coming from through his eyes, not Kelsey's eyes. Okay, so I buy that. I do. I buy that part of it. I mean, I don't really know what else to say here. Let's go through the presser that he had yesterday. Here. By the way, folks, Jalen will keep you in ball games playing like he did on Monday. Hey, isn't it funny? I just thought of this, and how come Jalen Hurts looks better as a quarterback without A.J. Brown on the field? You know why? He goes back to using his legs and using the things that made him get that $250 million contract. Isn't that true? People were like this, man, We saw Jalen Hurts. Why? Because AJ wasn't on the field. Right? How could Jalen look better without AJ? Because he went back to running the ball. Okay. So I went back and I wanted to listen to Jalen Hurts talking about the team, himself, being prepared, not and some of the things that happened in the game. And this was yesterday. Said he spoke to the team, kind of said it evolved like that. That stuff happens. I know some people had a problem with the coach not saying anything. Who would have a problem with the coach not saying anything? No signs of Gardner Johnson at practice from Jeff McClain. That's $8 million. Why would anybody have a problem with the head coach not saying anything after a game? He has no role anyway. Anything he would say after a loss like that would be inconsequential. He could tell me to give me the Newt Rockney speech and move on and press on. I'd be like, hey, dude, I'd rather have you tell me how to crochet than tell me about the Saints coming up. Give me a crochet pattern, on my plane flight down to New Orleans. And that's going to be more helpful to me than you telling me to move on. I mean, I don't really care what he says. He was asked, how do you overcome a game like that? Well, you have to have short-term memory loss. You have to have short-term memory loss when you win. And you have to have short-term memory loss when you lose. There's no difference. You can't bask in the sun, and you can't stay in the mud. You got to pick up and move on. Because one loss can cost you 2 losses if you think hard enough about it. And that's what you don't want. He said, this is something that I liked from Hurts. Get this. The interception at the end of the game. He said, we took a shot with the play at the end of the game, hoping somebody would make a play. If I had to do that all over again, I would probably rethink where we were, how much time we had, and maybe we would do something completely different instead of being so aggressive. I a little bit paraphrased it, but he rethought that all. Maybe what we should have did was go for the field goal. Okay. You learn from that. I'm okay with that. You learn more from losing than you do winning. Is Nick the cancer on this team? Christopher, it's a funny question that you ask. Is he a cancer on the team? The problem becomes this, that when you have a situation like they did on Monday night, and Christopher, when you hear the head football coach go like this, well, the analytics said that the play that they threw to Barkley was a high success rate, but it also had a high failure rate. And they went off the analytics instead of using applied analytics. The coach should have stopped it. Hey, let's do this. Can you imagine what you would have done there? Like I said, run the ball, take the time off the clock, get into 4th down. Dude, you could have been 3rd and 1. Hey, do you really think now, looking back on that, where they were at the field, you think 2 plays with the tush push involved in it, you think the Eagles would have scored with 1:40 left in the game? Worst case scenario would have been what? You're on the 1, and Atlanta would have had to go 99 yards. And you know what they would have did? As soon as they got possession, the clock would have started. but you would have taken 60 seconds off the ball and off the clock. Your clock was you were playing against the clock, not the Falcons then. Even if you don't get it, you make them go 99 to kick it to tie. They weren't going, well, I don't know, the way that defense played. I mean, you had so many other winning options. John's like, McMullen, Barkley has to make the play. No shit. Well, players don't make plays. What does Barkley do best? He runs the ball. Since he's been a running back in the NFL, he's dropped more passes than any RB in the league. I would have taken that into consideration. You know, and get this. How prepared was Atlanta for that? He wasn't getting in anyway. I don't know. Maybe he would have. Rolling right, Jalen Hurts, screen out there. Barkley's talented. He probably would have got in if he catches it. But the risk reward wasn't big enough for me to make that play. Why didn't the head coach go like this? You know, Kellen, we're not going to run that play. We're going to run the ball here. Let's run the ball in between the tackles. You guys are telling me all day long you got the best O-line in football. Why not use it? Your quarterback is not a very good passer of the football anyway. Why wouldn't you hand the ball off? Or how about Hurts on a design run? Any of those things. A read option would have been more successful, in my opinion, and safer. Why didn't Nick do any of that? I just, that's where that comes into in decision-making in critical times when you don't have a head coach. And it was on display. That's a really great question by Senor. Why didn't Hurts audible out of that play? Great question. Great question. Why didn't he? Because it would have contradicted what analytics and the coaches wanted? Patrick Mahomes does it all the time. Andy Reid said in the Super Bowl, Mahomes audibled out of so many plays we had called. But there's trust. How many times did you hear Andy Reid at the post-press conference at the Super Bowl go like this? Oh, no, I called about 5 or 6 plays in the fourth quarter. He audibled out of every one of them. Well, shit, how many plays do you think you get in the fourth quarter? 15? He's audible outing half of them? Over half of them? That's what I want my quarterback to do. He said that to work with Dotson, we have to get on the same page. No, you have to see him. Getting on the same page? How can you get on the same page when he's the third option? And you can't see the second option? This guy is a cookie cutter reading of a defense at this stage in his career. Nick isn't a cancer. He's a non-factor head coach, which doesn't win Super Bowls. Every week we have a head coach disadvantage. Can't say it any better. Can't say it any better. Sills, who would be a perfect head coach for Hurts and the Eagles? Mike Vrabel. You think Mike Vrabel fixes that defense? You think Mike Vrabel tells people to shut the fuck up? You think Mike Vrabel tells his quarterback, you make the call down there? I don't want Kellen Moore to have complete autonomy over my quarterback. I don't want that. Why does people have to be put in boxes in Philly? Head coach listens to Howie. Prince brings it up perfectly. Prince, you know why I think Jalen did an audible out of it? Is because I think he's held to what Kellen Moore says. That's why. It's like everybody's in their room. Instead of the most important player that you paid $50 million a year to, having to say, I'm not running that. This is, I think, better. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley controlled the time of possession with what? Running the ball. They completely held the time of possession. Why wouldn't you have ended that game doing that? And by the way, when you have a time of possession team like the Eagles, hey, Nick, kick the freaking field goals. You're going to need them just in case the passing game, like it hasn't been, without AJ, is not on all cylinders. You didn't have get this. This guy didn't have AJ Brown, passes on a field goal, points were limited, but he didn't care. Where's the analytics on that? When your best player's not on the field, where's your analytics? Let me tell you this. I think this is going to be important this weekend. If the Eagles lose this weekend, my question is going to be, how does it look how they lost? Okay? Is it going to be Hurts missing passes and the defense? Well, shit, we're talking about 2023 again. The coordinators have made no impact on changing that narrative. Am I wrong? Have the Eagles, do you understand that if you lose that game, you're 2-8 in the last 10 ball games? Cosmo, Howie is the cancer. Howie needs to know his role. He doesn't know his role. You know why? Because Chip Kelly broke down barriers in that building. He broke barriers down in that building that Howie will never, ever have put back up unless he's canned. I'll tell you how most organizations are set up. Okay? You got one side of the building are coaches. The other side of the building is personnel people. Your general manager's over there with those guys. Very rarely does a GM get involved in any way when it comes to the coaching. Let me ask you this. Do you think the general manager gets into meetings with Mike Tomlin on what Mike Tomlin's going to do? Mike might invite him in because if there's personnel needs at certain situations, especially coaching meetings, I bet you Mike, you know what? I'll ask Alfredo Roberts and Carl Dunbar. If the general manager is in meetings with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, I'm going to ask him that. Hey, man, is the GM of the Steelers, is he in meetings, team meetings with the coaches? How he is. Sirianni says he is. Get this. When's the last time Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl? When's the last time Philadelphia had a head football coach that the team resembled the identity of its coach? Oh, wait, you fired him. Oh, wait, you fired the other guy, too, that won a Super Bowl. Fired 2 Super Bowl coaches for Nick. Okay. Can't justify it. Can't justify it. I bet you Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in nearly 10 years. Correct. I know he hasn't. As a matter of fact, Pittsburgh made one glaring mistake personnel-wise. They held on to Roethlisberger too long. Not saying Pittsburgh's not without faults. They are. They held on to Ben too long. They didn't make the transition like they did in Green Bay. Yeah, they had to get out from under him, and they didn't. They didn't do it quick enough. No question. They're paying for it now. They're totally paying for it. They needed to move off of Ben, and they wanted to ride it more than they wanted to need to ride him with. But I'll tell you one thing. You're not sitting here trying to tell me you think that Nick Sirianni's a better coach than Mike Tomlin, are you? What do you think Mike Tomlin would do at the talent level on the Pittsburgh Steelers? How many games do you think he'd win? 4? 3? 2? How long would it be before that entire city erupted with Sirianni and his bullshit in Pittsburgh? But you see, that won't happen in Philly because the narrative is handled in Philly differently than in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh embraces the fans. Philly controls the fans with the media. There lies the difference. And by the way, that's not an indictment. You're not a better fan base than them or the Steelers. That's not an indictment. It's just handled differently. It's just handled differently. He goes like this, at the same time. Here's a funny thing. At the same time, the Steelers stink, and they're 2-0. Okay? And they beat Atlanta. Hey, I'm awake or you? You say that Pittsburgh stinks. Well, they spanked Atlanta. They spanked Atlanta. I mean, am I right? No, hey, I'm awake or you. I know you do. I got it. Hey, and Brother Hannibal goes, Pittsburgh quarterbacks have stunk for years. Hey, Brother Hannibal, Mason Rudolph? Yeah, I'm thinking you're right. Hey, Mason Rudolph? Yes. Isn't it funny? They win games with that guy, Mason Rudolph. We also don't have TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. Man, hey, let me ask you this. How much of a loss now is the loss of Fletcher Cox being felt? You know, everybody was saying how much of a loss that Jason Kelce was going to be. How much of a loss is Fletcher Cox now? Right? He's a major loss. Hey, Fletcher Cox is a huge loss. He is a huge loss right now. I mean, huge. I just found out general manager in Pittsburgh, according to Alfredo Roberts, the tight end coach who I played with at the University of Miami, says that the general manager is not in the team meetings when it comes to formulating game plans, but he's in the coaches' meetings when there's an issue with personnel. If a guy's hurt, he'll come in and he'll be in that position to see what's out there in the market if they need somebody. If there's a deficiency at a position, O-line, running back, what have you. But generally, the general manager is nowhere to be seen. He says it's Mike Tomlin's game. Kevin Colbert came on this program about 2 years ago before he left as general manager. Now he's a consultant to the Steelers. You know what he told me? Once the season starts, this is Mike's game. We're here at his behest. Whatever he needs, He calls us. We come down. Off season, it's my game. In season, it's his game. That's how they run it in Pittsburgh. In Philly, it's Howie's game 24/7. And Nick makes it very clear that way. Hit the like button. Why didn't you get Brian Burns? Why was there no attempt to go after Brian Burns? Howie and Laurie are the reason the Eagles are one of the most competitive teams in the NFL for the last 2 decades. Coaches and players come and go. Only those two stay, and team stays competitive. Congratulations to him. Awesome to be competitive. I give you a lot of kudos for being a solid team every year. Wonderful. As a matter of fact, I really thought that you would aspire to be a champion each and every single year. Being competitive, that's like saying, I'm competitive on my bar exam, but I don't pass it. Congratulations to you. You're competitive. Not a problem. A lot of teams would take that. Look at the Jets. No question. No question. Let me ask you this. I'll ask you one more time before I get Xander on. In 31 years, 32 years that Jeffrey Lurie has owned a team, has he over or underachieved his owner? What would you say? Well, damn, we're good every year. Okay. That's not what I asked you. I asked you, do you think he's over or underachieved? With the money you spend, have you over or underachieved? How about, by the way, in the last 3 years, have the Philadelphia Eagles over or underachieved? What do you think? Michael says over. Overachieved the Eagles. Just one Super Bowl, just won't cut it. Both underachieved. Aren't these teams spending money? Aren't all these teams spending money? Like who, KC? Do you know Patrick Mahomes is the 12th highest paid quarterback in the league? You know why? He pulled a Brady on all you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to be the highest paid player. So you know what I mean? I'm going to reinvest in my team so that everyone else on the team can eat. And that's why they're in Super Bowls. 12th highest paid player in the league at quarterback is the best guy we've seen maybe in NFL history. That's by design. Jalen Hurts makes more money than Patrick Mahomes. Oh my God. I don't know why I laughed there. I don't know why I laughed there but holy cow, here we go. I don't know where this thing's going to go here now. Because, you've heard me now. I told you I was going all elbows off the top rope. And I can only imagine. My ears could be bleeding by the end of this here. So I don't. Now, he did modify his win total yesterday. I gave him an opportunity. You get one mulligan a year. The co-host of Birds 365, our friend and partner in crime, Xander Big Z Kraus, joins us now. Hey.
What up, Big Sills?
What up, big man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. This team is right where we want to be. We are the underdog again. You get knocked down, you get back up, Big Sills. This team has a chance to get this thing back on the rails this weekend and knock off a team that just destroyed the Dallas Cowboys. If they do that, ain't nobody going to be worried about week 2 anymore. Let's go, Birds.
Hey, can you turn the volume up of your mic or something here? Because I want to hear this shit clearly here. So you're not, are you concerned at all in any way?
What do you mean? Of course I'm concerned. Listen, this defense sucks. They looked brutal. The guys that Howie has drafted and brought in look to be an abomination early on in the 2024 season. We cannot put that lightly. But great teams overcome. And we have the chance to do this today, this weekend, Big Sills.
I feel like
I have concerns. Find me a team in the league that doesn't have concerns.
I think I'm listening to Newt Rockney and that Xander Rockney here getting ready for this weekend.
So it's me too, dude. You can't expect me to put my hands up and throw in the white towel and give up in week 2. Am I concerned? Hell yeah, I'm concerned. Was I happy Monday night? Hell no, I wasn't happy. Did I think Jalen Hurts shit the bed? I think he shit the bed. Did the defense shit the bed? They shit the bed. Did everybody let me down? And did they let the city of Philadelphia down? Yes.
The no-holds defense, baby, was hot on Monday, man.
We have retired that nickname. It will not be coming out until further notice.
That shirt won't be processed.
The no-holds defense, the whatever you want to call it, the tractor or the van, it's broken down on the side of the road. We left it in the middle of the country. We actually left that thing in Brazil. We never even brought it back home. So no holes no longer exist.
Hold on. Wait a minute here. I'm awake or you. Xander went off on Monday, but you know what he has the right to do? He has the right to go, well.
Listen, I was pissed off. I think we should have been pissed off.
Right.
I said it before the show because somebody was like, oh, Xander's off the wagon now. I'm like, but I've been an Eagle fan since I came out of the womb. I grew up in this city. I still live in this city. I'm never not going to be an Eagle fan. But I said I wanted Jalen Hurts to be an MVP. I said I had this team winning 14 football games this year. I said that Jalen Hurts was going to have X amount of passing yards, 4,500. I said multiple Super Bowls with Jalen Hurts in the next however long we have him at quarterback. Do you think we're going to get that with low standards of play, with low expectations for excellence? We must hold the team accountable. We must, as fans, demand a great product if we want what we desire to come true. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to jump off the ship, but I am going to call it out if I think we're not playing up to snuff. I am going to say that ain't championship football. That's not a championship defense. Are they problems that we might not be able to fix? Yeah, they are. I'll admit that. Sills has woken me up to that reality without a doubt. Am I somewhat concerned that Jalen hasn't made the step forward I was hoping he would make? Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I am. But I think we have. I think we have a chance here to right this ship. Going up against a team that's red hot right now and just destroyed the Dallas Cowboys. And look,
at every level.
I'm on drugs today because I'm back on the Eagles bandwagon. Sure, I might be. I might be high on the Eagles supply, like I have been for 26 years of my life. Maybe I am, right? But that's okay, because if this team wins this weekend, I guarantee every single one of you in the chat is going to be buckled in right next to me on the wagon. And we're going to be on this ride, hoping that we can reach what we want to reach ultimately. Because that's what being an Eagle fan is, Big Sills.
Yeah, no, being an Eagle fan is like going on a wagon train. It's going to be bumpy no matter what, man.
No matter what, baby.
No matter what. It's going to be a little bumpy here. Now, I started the program out by saying this. Dude, Eagles have to come to the realization here. Bryce Huff can't start.
Well, they're going to start. Did you hear Vic Fangio today?
Just give me a synopsis.
I was blown away that we even reached that point of the conversation in the press conferences. Like, it wasn't like, oh, he hasn't been great. Vic Fangio actually said, oh, we're going to keep him at the starting role. Keep him starting?
Wow.
We gave this dude $17 million, and you're telling me it's even a question? This dude has been a major underachiever so far in 2 weeks. He spoke today, Bryce Huff, and he's like, I watched the tape. I got to give some different looks for the offensive tackles, and I need to be more consistent. And I'm like, great, another guy that's going to go up to the mic and feed me all the bullshit and put a goose egg on the stat sheet. He better show up soon because the pass rush is abysmal. And as much as I hope that this team turns it around, as much as I'm feeling like there's a possibility they can turn it around and get back in the win column this weekend, we're not going to do it without a pass rush, and we're not going to do it without a run defense. So if you're 32nd in the run, by the way, we got Alvin Kamara this weekend. He put up 4 touchdowns versus the Cowboys last week. He's got 5 touchdowns on the year. This defense, the Saints defense we're going up against, they have 5 turnovers already on the year, 4 interceptions in 2 games. Jalen Hurts has 3 interceptions and 4 turnovers this year through 2 games. We're going to have to get better at all the things we haven't been good at if we want to get a win. So, obviously I'm still very concerned, but I am trying to see I'm trying to close the book. It's week 2. It's a week-to-week league. You can't write everything off after a couple weeks, but we got a lot of stuff we got to get better, Big Sills. No doubt about it.
Here, I got a new name for Bryce Huff. His name, and I'll use a Trumpism on him. His name is Bryce Casper the Ghost Huff. That's his new name.
I like what somebody gave me this morning on Birds 365.
Tell me.
Puff. It's no longer Puff. Bryce Puff.
Yeah, no. Bryce Puff. I like
Cocoa Puff. Whatever you want to call him.
I like
Powder
it,
Puff.
So what's that guy's name, Landry? The evaluator, the talent evaluator that he talks about quarterbacks all the time. He's on the NFL Network. His last name, Cosell, I mean.
Oh, Greg Cosell. Yeah,
Greg Cosell.
Yeah.
So I went back and watched the 22, as I know that Prince would always be the opposite of, because that's his bullshit view of being the opposite of what Big Cells is all the time. But I actually watched also a little bit of what Greg Cosell said. And Greg Cosell said, Kellen Moore's schemes were absolutely fantastic. Getting guys open were great. Guys were open all over the place. Goddard was open. Dotson was open.
Goddard was streaking.
Hurts he was open.
There was a couple big plays in the game that he was open on, but to say he was open everywhere is not true. But there was a couple plays, yes, that like that 4th down, I think he was wide open. There's a couple plays.
He's not doing the easy things exceptional. He's one read, roll right. One read, roll right.
Yeah, well,
AJ Brown exposes Hurts when he's not out there.
Yeah, man, you talked about this off the air the other day where, the more games that are played by Jalen Hurts, the more you are going to see whether he is advancing in his career to having a more versatile skill set or adding on his skill set, or he's going to be the same guy. Right now, he's the same guy. He's very good in the run. He's an elite athlete, one of the best athletes on this planet. But he struggles right now being a quarterback, getting through his reads, and that's an issue, no doubt. Cosell pointed it out. Look,
he did, and I posted that.
Everybody doesn't want to hear it because go watch another guy who broke down the film. I'm
he says I'm lying. That means he says that Greg Cosell's lying. That's at Dan
Greg Cosell's been breaking down film for 40 years.
Okay, and I posted that, Prince. So you go fucking look at it. Dumbass take, kid, as usual. You're usually at around 22%. Today, you're at 12%. Good take.
Look at P.I. Look, there's a lot of this fan base that's not happy with Jalen Hurts right now. He says the more I see, the less I like. P.I., you're gonna have a tough next couple of years, my man. So just settle in. That's why, the one thing that is true that I think we all as Eagles fans must admit to ourselves with where we are, because we have Jalen Hurts for the foreseeable future. Jalen Hurts is not going to elevate us against all odds to win a Super Bowl. If Howie Roseman builds the perfect offense, which Howie's done a pretty good job at, we have a good chance to win a Super Bowl, yes. But if AJ goes down, if Devontae goes down, if an offensive lineman isn't top 5, we've never seen Hurts without a top 5 offensive line. I think we have a quarterback that's very competent. He's very good. He's not elite. Elite quarterbacks, when you lose an A.J. Brown, they elevate everybody else. Jalen Hurts hasn't necessarily done that yet in his career. I don't think that's unfair to say, right? So this is why Howie has prioritized the offense so much. This is why he spent $175 million. This is why our defense stinks on ice, but before the season started, we sent a third-round draft pick to bring in another wide receiver. It has to be perfect for Hurts. Now, can we still win? Of course. Look, 22, we're on the doorstep, right? Everything was right there. We nearly got it done over the guy we continue to talk about, Patrick Mahomes. We nearly did it. But if something goes wrong, I like we talked about the defense. I wouldn't expect a massive investment on the defense coming.
No, you can't fix that either.
We're going to continue to spend on the offensive side of the ball. And many people will say that's a good thing, right? It's the offense. It's the modern NFL. It's an offensive league. Defense is being legislated out of it. No doubt. Some of that is true. But we are going to have a perfect offense with everything around. Like, that's why, I'll challenge Eagle fans right now, right? And I'm one of them. Why are we so critical of Brock Purdy for having everything around him? Right?
Yeah, no.
You tell me, you guys tell me all the time in the chat.
Brock Purdy's better than Hurts.
Oh, you're crazy. Brock Purdy's this. He's overrated. He's it. Well, Brock Purdy needs a great team. Why? Jalen is the same thing. Jalen has needed a great team, and when he hasn't had it, he has underdelivered in terms of being elite. Being elite is rising up against the odds. Being elite is losing Tyreek Hill and winning 2 Super Bowls with Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Right.
And Rashee Rice.
That's right.
And Juju Smith-Schuster.
Right.
That's being elite. So
totally
we got to tone down the rhetoric in terms of Jalen being an elite quarterback. He's just not that. At least he's not right this second. So we need a great offense and we need to stay healthy. That's where we are in terms of the offense. And just one more point, because I brought up the defense already. That means that the draft picks on defense are going to have to work. That's why when you look at the draft picks the last couple of years, Jalen Carter, first rounder. Jordan Davis, first rounder. Nolan Smith, first rounder. Nakobe Dean, third rounder. Keely Ringo, fourth rounder. $17 million on Bryce Huff, which is the outlier because of as a free agent. Darius Slay already had his money. Those guys that I named, though, that are draft picks, if they don't play good on rookie contracts, we're never going to have a good defense. The whole defense in the Jalen Hurts era will rely on defensive draft picks being good because they're cheap contracts, right? So we have invested on the defensive side, but you're not going to spend money on the defensive side like we do on offense. It's just not going to happen. And this is the big problem that Sills talks about. Howie doesn't know a damn thing about drafting defensive players. And I would have challenged Sills on that a little bit ago and said, Jalen Carter this, and, but look, they all stink right now. Jalen Carter looks not good. He's very lowly ranked right now in the NFL in terms of defensive tackles. Jordan Davis looks like a waste of a 13th draft pick. Nolan Smith, we talk about the pass rush Sills. We talk about losing Hassan Reddick. We don't even bring up the name Nolan Smith. Dan, he was a first-round draft pick.
The only reason that it's masked is because Huff has been worse. I mean, it's the only reason, because he's just as bad. Let's get to these super chats here, because I don't know where, I've been doing this for 35 years. Hey, fuckbag Prince, I don't have to steal shit. Okay? I don't. I credit people. Okay? I do. So
we got a couple supers. You want to bring them up?
Yeah, let's bring them up here, man. Our D scheme is to shit. Doesn't matter if we brought more people in, DE in the first round next year, no exceptions. But here's the problem with what Suo said. You hired him. You knew this.
Suo is expecting, if we do take a DE in the first round, which, by the way, we did a year ago, Nolan Smith, I just brought him up. We don't even talk about the guy because he sucks so bad. Why are you expecting it to be the right pick? We haven't drafted successfully Like we've spent all these draft picks on the defensive line, and I don't have a problem with it because I believe winning in the trenches is an important thing in the NFL. We haven't had a good defensive lineman drafted since
Josh Sweat.
Fletcher Cox, dude.
Okay, that kind of player, yes. Since Fletcher.
I mean, Fletcher Cox is
Josh is
2012.
Josh is not.
Josh is okay. I mean, look, you can't build a pass rush on Josh Sweat.
No.
So, he's okay as far as I'm concerned.
Let's go to Prince here. Seals can't even see his kneecap, but he watched the All-22. I did. I have it. I've been saying Hurts needs to be better, but stop the cap. Whatever. Okay. Hey, thanks for the $5, dickhead. Appreciate it. At the end of the day here, dude, it's funny, Prince. I've been saying Jalen Hurts can't read a defense for 4 years. You're saying it now. I've been saying it since day one. Have I? You know what? It's crazy for me here. I'm not as upset as most of you are because you know why? I've been saying it for 4 years that he was never going to get better because you know why? You were changing him. You know what else? If you were going to keep him like you did on Monday night, and that guy that you had on Monday night, he plays like that in Atlanta. Xander, explain this to me. Why do you think Hurts looked better than in the last 10 games in any other game he's played? You know why? AJ wasn't on the field. They had to rely on him running. They had to rely on his wheels.
Yeah, look, I don't even think he looked that great. I mean,
guess what?
I knew he could
looked better.
He looked better in terms of the run game. I mean, I guess he completed a good percentage of his passes, but none of them were pushed down the field. So, there was only one.
That's who he is.
Yeah, and that's where you're right, and that's why
I've been saying that's what he is.
If we don't have a perfect offense around him, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Absolutely, he will never lead your team being elite. He'll lead an elite team. That's what it is.
Well, there's some major problems with that we better hope don't come to fruition. Because
let me say this to you:
if you're paying a guy elite money though, and he can't give you that eliteness, you'd almost be better off with the San Francisco model, who keeps rotating new quarterbacks in there.
Tell me why Howie Roseman doesn't get enough heat in this city.
Well, I mean, look, I do think Howie's done a lot of good. Look, the defense right now is at the center of the bullseye, but you're talking about a GM right now that he went from the Carson Wentz era into the Jalen Hurts era, rebuilt the oldest offense in the NFL. It's now one of the youngest offenses in the NFL. He has 2 elite wide receivers. He's got still a top 5 offensive line with turnover. I mean, you talked about losing Jason Kelce. We've replaced a Hall of Famer with not much drop-off. That's an impressive move. You talk about, I guess, the running backs have been,
Has he over or underachieved as GM?
Well, it depends how you define achievement.
You fill that in. It's the question I asked you.
For me, it's Super Bowls, but I'm also aware that only one team wins the Super Bowl every year.
I don't mind 2 NFC titles.
Like you brought up the bar example. Like multiple people pass the bar. A lot of people pass it. So it's not really the right example. Only if you define success as Super Bowls, then you underachieve. But that's a very tough metric to define success because only one team a year can win.
So what is Kansas City defined by? AFC championships or division titles?
Kansas City has the ultimate equalizer, I guess you could call it. They got the elite of elite quarterbacks.
Who's not playing elite?
I know, but who's the only teams in history that have won multiple Super Bowls in a 5-10 year period?
But that is probably even less.
Or it's Brady and Mahomes in the modern game. That's it.
And
so if you don't have an elite quarterback, I mean, yeah, Denver, but Denver But
that was pre-salary cap.
Yeah, that's pre-salary cap. The modern era, there's only 2. It's Brady and it's Mahomes, and those are arguably the 2 greatest quarterbacks to ever grace the football field. So it's tough to compare, Kansas City. Look at Buffalo. Look at Cincinnati. Look at even the LA Rams. Look at all one Super Bowl, is great. I mean, but you're not going to get multiple Super Bowls for the most part. And that's my worry with saying what I said in terms of I think we can win multiple with Jalen. My expectation was Jalen would continue to elevate who he is in his game. We haven't quite seen that this year. And everybody's like, was high on the Monday night performance. I knew that. I knew he could be a great runner. That's not what we need to ultimately win multiple Super Bowls. So we're in a tough spot right now.
Well,
this defense is relying on the draft picks, and the draft picks aren't.
Remember what
playing.
I told you, and remember what I said to people in the offseason. Team's top heavy. The team's top heavy. You got an offense, but you have no defense. But you have no defense.
You're trying to say that about every team in the NFL.
To that extent, where you're the worst team in run defense, you're the worst.
Yeah, that's brutal.
You're not in the middle of the pack. You're the worst. You're giving up 7 yards a carry.
Look, I'm going to make a statement right now. If this team, and P.I., I would agree that Jalen's, in a way, he's regressed in the passing game. He's not passing. He's not throwing the football well right now. So for anybody. But if this team, if we get to, let's say, week 10 or week 12 or, maybe even a little bit later in the year, and this team sucks, or it doesn't look like we think they're going to look by that point, I'd almost hope that this defense continues to collapse, because then maybe it will mean we finally move off the bend but don't break bullshit defense that the entire NFL has caught up with. Because if it succeeds right now, you're just going to be looking at the same style of defense. That's the problem. And if this is the defense we want to settle into, I don't know. I don't like it. So I'd almost like, if we're not going to win it all this year, I almost hope it burns down so that we can fire Vic. Like if you fire Vic, where do you go from there, right? Because you fired Desai, and we got the guy that created the defense. If you have to fire Vic because the defense sucks so bad this year, where do you go from there?
You know why you can't fire him?
I think you changed schemes.
No, you can't do that. You know why? Why can't you change schemes? You know why you can't change two high safety? Because Howie's built the roster around two high safety. That would mean you would have to clean house on almost 80% of the personnel that he drafted. That's not happening.
No, you're right. And Dustin says you don't have the players to play good defense. Hello, Xander. You need players. Dustin, did you not hear my opening on the show? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. Those are 3 first-round draft picks, my man. To say that we haven't invested is wrong. We picked the wrong dudes. Right? It looks like we picked the wrong dudes. It's not that we haven't made the investment. It's draft capital. It's not money like it is on the offensive side.
Oh, that's a big deal.
I mean, look, dude, if you have 3 first-round draft picks, no shit. No shit, you're not going to have a good defense. You have 3 first-round draft picks right now who are all underachieving. Every one of them. No, we don't even talk about. I can't get over the Nolan Smith one. Like, Jordan Davis, I know, but he's been in the bullseye. Jalen Carter, I still think he could get it going because I think he has the talent inside. We don't even talk about him. I don't even see comments in the pass rush. When we talk
about
how
bad Huff's been.
I know, but everybody's mad at Huff. I don't even see people saying, "Where is Nolan?" Like we act like the dude's not even there.
No, I get it.
First rounder guy.
I know he's terrible. He's completely, in my opinion, in that room now with Bus. KC has continued to restock the O-line and defenses. That's because the quarterback allows you that. Yeah. You're not paying for running backs and wide receivers. Did we miss a super chat, Xander?
JY Scow, however I pronounce that. What's the highest paid wide receiver in Kansas City?
Oh, there's not even 1,000-yard wide receiver in Kansas City.
What's the highest paid wideout there? What are they paying for their running backs there?
7th rounder.
You can't compare us to them because they have Patrick Mahomes that makes everything work. You don't need to spend. We have 2 receivers making $20 million plus, dude. One making $30 million plus. Who'd I miss? Who'd we miss? Some supers.
Did we miss one there?
We missed one. I'll get him after this one. Go ahead.
Because Nolan fell to 30 for a reason, and we took him over Brian Branch, which I hated. He should have been a 2nd rounder, trade up for an elite defensive end. Absolutely true. Absolutely. Hey, I remember when Barrett Brooks was saying that guy was going to be one of the elite players. You know what I kept saying?
Yeah.
I would never have taken that guy. I didn't see it.
So he doesn't look like an edge rusher. You watch the tape. He looks like mean, he's like linebacker sized.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be an edge rusher. I don't think. I don't think he's ever going to have a career being a get after the quarterback edge rusher in this league. He's just not big enough. I mean, I don't know. And what a joke though, right? That we spent a first round draft pick on an edge. We get no pass rush, and nobody is holding Howie accountable for the guy.
That's my question. Nobody's saying anything
It wasn't all on Bryce Huff to replace Hassan Reddick, right? I mean,
dude, you had other options. You could have went Chase Young, or you could have went Brian Burns. Why'd you go him?
Yeah, or you could have had your first rounder that actually worked with Bryce Huff, and then you make it up with two guys.
Okay.
And neither of them are giving you shit.
Right.
The Nolan Smith one right now is the most baffling to me because this team is so devoid of guys that can get after the quarterback after Hassan Reddick is gone. Like you saw, it's only 2 weeks, so maybe they can get it going, but we have been nowhere. We haven't had a sack from an edge rusher. Here's a stat for you. In 6 games dating back to last year from an edge rusher. Now, Hassan Reddick was in that 6 games, so I'm not letting him skate off scot-free either, but he was good in his time here. 6 games it's been since we've had an edge get after the quarterback. All sacks have come from either linebackers or defensive tackles.
Wow. I
mean, that's just brutal. Like nobody.
In a game of edge rushers being a premium position, you're getting nothing out of it.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem with our defense. Well, it might be the run defense, right? Because if you can't stop the run, you're never going to be in a position to rush the passer.
Because you're going to, you know why? At minimum, you're going to be 3rd and 1. So you're not going to be in that position. I think, by the way, guys with the super chats, you guys have been great. I think we missed a ton of them here, probably like 4 or 5 of them here. So just go back a little ways here. So I just want to make sure you guys are great here.
We'll get every super chat. Don't worry. If I missed one, I will make sure we get it. That's our pledge to all of our.
Absolutely. I love Kelsey, but Howie doesn't get hammered because the use of his Super Bowl speech at the parade. Okay. I think that's got something to do with it too. He takes complete credit for that. And you know what happens to the media in Philadelphia? They allow him to land on that pod. Okay. That team, the last team you had that resembled the identity of its coach was Doug Peterson. Since Doug Peterson has been out of the building, not one Eagle football team has resembled the personality of its head coach. It resembles the personality of the general manager. And the general manager does things differently because you know why? The autonomy in the room, the coach doesn't have any. He's not going to overturn a 3rd and 3 call down there in the red zone with minutes left in the game. Everybody's going to be cookie cutter. Everyone's got a responsibility. And someone brought up something even better. Why didn't Jalen audible out of that if he thought the play wasn't bad? How many times did Andy Reid say in that Super Bowl, Xander, in the 4th quarter, I called 13 plays total in that quarter? Mahomes audibled out of it 6 times that he didn't like to play. What's the problem there? Is it trust? Is it what? That you don't understand what that is? I mean, dude, you're paid $50 million. You're not going anywhere.
But I'm not about to get into a situation where I'm comparing Jalen to Patrick Mahomes.
No, I'm talking about decision making. No, the quarterback has to be
I think that's factored into it. I think Patrick Mahomes knows what play to do it, and not only that, he's confident enough in his abilities to make it happen, no matter what.
Hey,
I mean, that's why
Xander, he doesn't know what to do with reading defenses. He's a one-read guy. By the way, before you go on with the super chats here, let me think about something here. How many first-round draft choices have the Eagles drafted on offense that are in the current huddle now? Personally, they drafted Lane, Devontae. So they got 2 over there. On defense, currently on that shit defense, they've got Carter, they've got Davis, they've got Smith, they've got Quinyon Mitchell that they've drafted in the 1st round on that side of the ball. And if you want to go BG, that's a little too far back, but you got 5 first-rounders on that side of the ball, and you got the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, that's a problem with drafting, without a doubt. Let's get through some of these supers. Michael J. Checked in. He said Carr throwing 5 touchdowns against his trash secondary. Well, I'll tell you what.
It's not the secondary. It's the pass rush and the
I'm a little worried about the secondary. Who's going to cover Rashid Shaheed, who took the top off the Dallas defense last week?
Those routes are going to be so deep down in the coverage because you're not getting pressure and you can't stop the run. You could put the best DBs in the NFL back there, and you're not covering that if you get no pressure on the quarterback. If that guy sits back there and has 5 minutes, 5 seconds.
He can throw it, man. Derek Carr can freaking
Derek Carr's going to rip that secondary apart. He did the last time he was at the link.
Yeah, he did. It's true.
I
No,
mean,
you're right. I mean, Michael J. I hope you're not right, but you might be right because Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I think it's the game plan for the Saints coming into this week offensively is very simple. I mean, if you get Alvin Kamara going at all, you're going to open up that play action pass. Eagles are going to have to stack the box to try and stop Kamara. Rashid Shaheed's going to take your top off. Chris Olave coming across the middle. Very simple. Look, this is why Derek Carr only completed 11 passes last week and had 250 yards and a couple touchdowns and 44 points on the board. Their offensive game plan is going to be very simple this week, and the Eagles are going to know exactly what it is, and they still might not be able to stop it.
Here's what, in my opinion, how you beat the Saints this weekend. Tell me if you agree. You've got to run the ball 40 times. You've got to run the ball 40 times, man. You've got to establish a running game to make
you better get Gainwell going then, because if Saquon Barkley runs 40 times after getting 46 carries through the first,
Hurts is going to have to run too.
Well, he will. I mean, here's the watching the game tape from last week. If you watch Jalen Hurts, excuse me, if you watch Jalen Hurts' game last week and you're the New Orleans Saints, what are you going to try and take away?
Oh, I'm gonna hit him as hard as I can too every time.
You might try and either shadow somebody on him or do something. Oh yeah, you're going to force him to beat you through the air.
You're going to know also that they're going to make more of a priority to run him against the Saints this weekend. And you know what they're going to try to run on them? Watch this. Remember I told you this, Xander. They're going to run that counter run where he goes a weak side, and you're going to have a guy as deep as the ball. They're not going to allow that play to develop like they did in 22. And they're going to know, because that was the bread and butter for him in 22, was that, remember, play would go front side and he'd keep it and run backside and he'd get up the field. Teams are on to that now. They're on to that. You know what they were doing, teams before? They were getting in the pursuit angle instead of getting as deep as the ball. Your technique is get as deep as the ball. Hurts will have no shot at coming backside here. Do we have any more super chats here?
Yeah, we got a couple more we'll get to. Boy, it's funny, all the people in the chat who just want to discount Derek Carr. I mean, look, Carr's been a generational talent first 4 weeks of the season. Well, Victor, it's week 3. And we got to beat him in week 3, dude. So I'm not really worried about what he can do.
And Victor, it's not like you're talking about you have a competent defense. You're the worst defense in pro football right now.
And they have Alvin Kamara, who looks like, prime Alvin Kamara.
Isn't it funny how people go like this? Well, Derek Carr. Well, dude, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback too. Is he an elite guy? He's close. But Derek Carr, is he an elite guy? No, but he's really good. And anybody who gets 5 seconds with the 32nd worst defense is going to have a good day. You're sounding like you have gangrene. You don't.
It's going to be simple. It's going to be simple for this. If our defense doesn't make drastic improvements from week 2 to week 3, the game play better. That's it. That's the only improvement that can happen. Jalen Carter stops playing like the 140th ranked defensive tackle in the league. Jordan Davis picks up his 2 blockers and makes an impact, pushes the pocket back. Bryce Huff does something around the edge, for crying out loud. That's it. That's the only way. Because if Alvin Kamara comes out and just starts running all over us like Bijan Robinson was, they are way more equipped to massacre.
Xander, who are you more disappointed with, Carter, Huff, or Jordan Davis?
Probably Carter right now, just because the expectation was so high on him. And not only was the expectation high, I think we all know the talent is there. Like Bryce Huff, we don't really know. Like right now, we don't know. He was undrafted. Like there's a couple things with Bryce Huff you're like, you don't really know. Jalen Carter, we know, is a talented player. If Jalen Carter isn't a great player in this league, it's not going to be because of talent.
I'll be very disappointed.
It will not be because of talent. That's why I'm most upset.
It'll be, in my opinion, because of discipline.
Discipline. What's the big problem coming into the season? Conditioning, stuff like that. So
those guys weren't. You know what else too? Those guys, according to Greg Landry or Greg Cosell, I should say, he said that he didn't think they were in shape.
Who?
The defensive guys, they weren't in shape. The defense,
they don't look like they're in shape. No, Vic Fangio was saying that all summer.
Said they're not in shape.
In subtle ways. I mean,
is that preseason football again?
Looks like it a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're not going to change their scheme in terms of preseason. So don't count on that. Jordan Davis looks like a bust, everybody. I mean, 13th overall draft pick, drafted to be a nose. So, like, we're not even expecting the guy to get after the quarterback, but he still sucks at what he's doing. He's not eating up any blockers. They're single covering him. They don't even need a double. He was supposed to be the big man in the middle that might not get after your quarterback, but he's going to be a force to be reckoned with at 350 pounds and all.
Xander, kill me the next time somebody shows me a tape of somebody at the combines and it doesn't match the production they had in college. And just make sure you hit me with a brick, because how many times do you get fooled like Nolan Smith at the combines, that you go to the combines and you get wowed by things you'll never do in your entire NFL career at the combines in Indianapolis. And then when you go back and you look at productivity, look at Nolan Smith's productivity when he was at Georgia. He never had double-digit sacks. I don't know where you saw it. And then get this. You want to hear something crazy? Jordan Davis had 9 sacks in 3 years and 38 tackles total. And I'm going like, just hit me with a brick the next time there's non-productive players and you get wowed by the combines again. Howie loves that combine, and he gets taken by a gymnasium guy.
Well,
those are two gymnasium guys.
Howie's not a football guy. So
that's
like,
right.
You're a football guy. So you watch a combine and you're like, what is this? This
is nothing.
Football.
It means nothing.
Howie watches that and he's like, ooh, these guys are great, you know? It's
hey,
different way.
How do you say that he's good in college with 9 sacks in 3 years at Georgia? How is that good?
Where's Yale? Did Yale say that?
Yeah. He goes, they're good. They were good. They were going to come. 9 sacks in 43 games.
Yale's right, though, in terms of their defense was good. They were good players, but their
scheme was great.
Georgia had so many good players, though, that they played so little snaps. They could rotate everybody.
I'll tell you what, that Wyatt kid's pretty good.
Yeah, how's Trayvon Walker doing? I haven't followed his career much, but he's down in Jacksonville.
He's been up and down a little bit.
He was the first overall pick. I don't think he's been up. Everybody from that Georgia defense, roll tide.
Yeah,
roll tide, baby. Hey. Georgia got here, so
hey. Let's get to the super chats. I know we still have a couple.
Yeah, there's a couple we got to get to. We got him, Jay Scout. I do see what you're saying now. He was talking about how KC drafts and scouts. I got what you were saying now for sure. Did we get this? Sewell Blaze, Nolan fell to 30, and we took him over.
Yes, we got him. Okay, we're up. We're
riding the bench. Says set it past. We're planning to win 425 rather now. What's he mean by that?
Okay, hey, clarify it, and we'll put it back up there. Go ahead, ride.
Clarify that for me. Riding the bench. Khaled says give Carter time, otherwise they bums. We got that. And then Sewell Blaze just checked in. Over under 3 illegal man downfield flags from stupid RPO.
I think Cam will be better at that this game.
I don't think it's on Cam as much as we're thinking. I'm sorry, but I think it's on Jalen more. Look, go back and watch the tape. Jalen is not making a decision with the football. So every time you see him hold it that couple extra seconds, it might look good on the broadcast and might look like, oh, what a great decision. It's messing up the offensive linemen who don't know. They have a dude in their face. They can't turn around and watch exactly what Jalen's doing to know how far they can get upfield. That's why it continues to happen, because Hurts isn't making a decision quick enough on the RPO for the offensive lineman to pick it up. That's what I think. That's just from what I can see. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't know. I'm willing to be wrong, like I said. But
by the way, Merrill Reese will join us at 5:30. Let me ask you this. Everyone wants us to stop bringing up 2023. Then Xander, why is it when I watch this group, they're losing the same way? The inability to climb the progression tree and their defense is worse this year. It's the same stuff. You can have different names on the back of the jerseys, but it's the same result, and it looks exactly like last year. So when people go, that doesn't really have any – okay, all right, I get it. You're right. It's a different chapter in the book, but you're doing the same things that you did last year that caused you to get mowed over. It looks the same. Hurts looked – and when you take AJ off the field, my God, is he exposed. I mean, the whole offense is exposed. I got to tell you, dude, Kellen Moore and his offense, is it too complex for Hurts? Because Greg Cosell even said it. He goes like this. He goes, the routes are great. The guys getting open are great. He goes, this is Hurts' inability to find these open guys. He's late on passes. He's single read. He's not doing the common things that make it easy.
I think
You know, when you watch it and then you watch the 22, you plug that in and you're like, look at it. He's right. And it plugs in, and it's the same thing as 22. Do you think there's any coincidence? And like you said, that wasn't a good enough winning performance on Monday, but it was better than what we have seen in circumstances with him, especially running with the ball, because people were enamored by that. Hey, there was Hurts being electric again. Well, he wasn't electric in the passing game. He was electric with his wheels, what enhances the passing game. I always told you, that guy's passing game relies on his wheels.
It doesn't, but him running doesn't really enhance the passing game. It's not like running the ball down somebody's throat with a running back.
But it makes the routes open more.
I know, but it doesn't open up the play action at all. A quarterback running on an off-script play does not open up play action pass.
It did in 22.
If you line up under center, though, and hand it to a quarterback, well, that was a different
Xander,
offense in 22.
Wait,
he was on RPO almost every play.
But Xander, when you have a quarterback that will take off running, the linebackers are closer to the line of scrimmage. What did Wink Martindale said late in the year last year? They did not fear at all in any way Jalen Hurts running, so they loosened the backers up and they went back more. Well, what happens when those backers have to play closer to the line of scrimmage, as you said, spying Hurts? You got a bigger zone for the receivers to have bigger routes to beat.
Oh, yeah, and then that means Hurts has to hit him 20 yards deep, which he hasn't been able to do.
He's hit or miss back there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But they're more open when he's running. That's all I'm saying.
He's not getting through the progression. I think he's so focused on looking to run. Like, where can I, his second read isn't another wide out or another tight end.
No.
It's can I run?
Hey,
and then
great,
if that's
great
not there, it's different.
You know what he's doing too? He says he's getting out of the pocket too soon. He's
Well,
not staying in the pocket. He's bailing.
Because he's relying on his wheels, dude.
And his single read.
He's not looking to get through to pass the ball. He's looking, if I escape this pocket, it increases my chances of being able to run the ball and pick us up a couple yards. In a way, it's a blessing and a curse how athletic he is, because it gives him an out in every scenario, and he's never been forced to get through the progressions over and over and over again. Go ask Tom Brady or any quarterback that's a statue in the pocket. They have no choice. You're not going to be a good quarterback if you can't get through your progressions, because not every play you're going to have your first guy open. So they're required because they can't move. Jalen Hurts says, it's not there, I can take off. That's a blessing for him, but it also has hindered him in the ability to be able to progress as a pocket passer and get through the progressions and read the other side of the field. That was all Cosell's breakdown was. He's leaving guys open because he's rolling out.
I had somebody just text me and tell me that Vic said that he's going to teach these guys technique and we're going to do a better job of coaching. And I was like this, man, week 3? What the fuck were you doing in training camp? I mean, week 3, you're going to do a better job of coaching these guys up and putting them in better. No, you're not. That's coach talk, dude. Dude, you are not fixing that. You can't fix that. When get this, getting blown off the ball the way that Bryce Huff is getting blown off the ball, that's not fixable. That's not Nolan Smith getting crushed by a running back. Having his teeth knocked out.
Don't bring that up.
How are you figuring that? How are you fixing that? Hey, you want to hear who the best guy is on defense right now in the front 7? Kobe Dean.
Brandon Graham.
Okay. I'll tell you this. If all the Georgia guys, who would have said Kobe Dean's playing the best out of all them bums?
Oh, Sills, you're getting me stressed about this team right now, dude. This is what, by the way, right on the bench did clarify it. He meant winning 4-25, like the year 25. They're not even prepared to win this year. I think that's what he meant by that. So appreciate the super.
How do you think they fix this?
On defense?
Let's start anywhere. Okay, there.
Your first round draft pick's got to play better, man. That's it. Who are you going to go and get? Are you going to make a trade for somebody?
No.
You're not going to do it.
Here, let me help the Eagles get better.
Yeah. Look, I watched the Bryce Huff tape because I keep having this debate with John. We're not even really debating it because John is just very confident that Bryce Huff is going to turn it. And every time I go back, and watch the Bryce Huff tape though from last year, even
Howie
it's not
Huff.
impressive.
Howie Huff.
Look at my man Akbar. Akbar, I said that too much earlier in the week, man. I can't be saying that every single day. This is our quarterback. Akbar said, Sills and Xander spent 30 minutes talking about it, but won't say the word. Hurts sucks.
Dude, where have you been, Akbar? 4 years I've been doing this program.
Oh no, Akbar knows. Akbar
and
knows
I've been getting murdered by everyone, and all of you keep telling me how freaking elite. Oh, by the way, Akbar, I will never in a million years ever compare Jalen Hurts to Josh Allen ever again. You know who you're being compared to? Baker Mayfield. That's who you're being compared to, because there's your two OU quarterbacks.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield's balling.
Baker Mayfield looks pretty good right now.
Baker Mayfield and Jalen Hurts are in the same room. How you doing? Woo! Hey, come on, Xander. 7 wins. Hey, Xander.
I came down on Hurts earlier in the week. I was upset with the decision at the end of the game. I'm not going to sit here and do it every single day. I mean, look, this is our quarterback. So, Akbar, I love you, bro. We talked 2 weeks now after the game on the post-game show. I hope we do it weekly. Akbar is in the big sales camp of Jalen Hurts is brutal. Akbar, you're going to have to buckle your seatbelt because he ain't going anywhere. So let's hope everybody stays healthy and we can keep the offense perfect around them because, I'm not ready to concede that we're just not going to be a good football team for the next couple of years.
Fangio said I have to do a better job of coaching fundamentals to the players. Here's a fundamental. Don't get killed. Huff and stuff was still playing on the Brazil field. No, he had ice skates.
Wait, Sileo, he wasn't on the Brazil field. He never even made it. He's still playing at MetLife, my guy.
No,
he's still at MetLife. He never made it to Brazil.
Actually, he's over at Wells Fargo playing with the Flyers.
Yeah, on skates. Oh my God,
he's on skates. Hey, Chad, post that thing again. What you posted just a couple seconds ago. Go, Sills, you play D-line. How can you fix it?
Yeah, that's a better question for you than for me.
Go to a 5 front.
Yeah, but last time they did that, they were getting gashed too in week 1. Wasn't working as good as they were hoping.
Well, they
didn't go to it at all in week 2.
Let me try to outnumber you then, at least. Let me try to outnumber you.
You go to a 5-man front on Derek Carr, though, he's just going to sit there and pick you apart. That's the problem.
Well, I'll give you 20-20. They were pretty good in Reds. One thing they did do
they had been there. I think
they held them 58 minutes to 15 points.
Well, look, if you're looking for silver linings on the defense, the silver lining is they're 3rd ranked in 3rd down defense, and they're 5th ranked in red zone defense. I believe were the numbers John gave me, 3rd and 5th. So that's a silver lining. That's why the score was low, because you were able to get the stop. Younghoe Koo or whatever his name was had like 5 field goals.
Hey, wait a minute. John McMullen just did an absolute political move on you. Ask John what the Eagles are on 1st down. When you're giving up 6-9 a carry. Okay, you don't have to play much 3rd down, do you, dude? When you're getting murdered on 1st and 2nd down. Hey, wait a minute. What did he say? Buku Kim? Isn't that the guy that, what's his name, knocked out the guy died in the ring?
Yes, Younghoe Koo, I think.
But hey, wrong way who?
I don't know, dude. How would I know how to say Younghoe Koo? I think I'm right. We probably have a couple Asian people in the chat. How's my pronunciation of Younghoe Koo? Is that correct? I don't know.
Hey, some young kid. That kid kicked 5 field goals.
Yeah.
All right.
And by the way, they moved him way back to for a 48-yard point after to win the game. He stood right in there and said, "Oh, goodbye,
Philadelphia." Me with names. Great. Yeah. Hey, that's what we would do. Send it over to Sills. I'll show you how to destroy a name. No, man, they got to try to outnumber the Saints this weekend, because you got to do something schematically against the Saints. You know what you have to, here's the one thing you got to do. Man, is take that. You got to somehow slow the run down. I'm not going to say take the run away, because I don't believe you can. But, dude, you've got to slow that run down, or you're not going to have a shot at that thing, and you're going to get beat by 17.
You're right. look, if we don't stop the run, none of it's going to work because then you're never going to be in a position to pass rush. You know, like if you can't pin your ears back and go, then forget about Bryce. Bryce Huff is clearly not a 3-down guy. I think we can all know that from the tape that we've seen. But we got to hope at least he still is the one-trick pony that he was in New York, where he can rush the passer. Right now, he's a 0-trick pony. Like he's got no tricks, no tricks.
Hey,
he can't stop the run, and he can't get after the quarterback.
And
You better hope that run defense gets better.
And then Jake Elliott will have to be Wang Chung tonight.
Yes. Oh, wait, who is the game tonight, Big Sills?
It is New England and the New York Jets. Hey, New England. Hey, if the Jets are, I tell you what, Tennessee slowed that. I think the Jets are overrated.
That's
we got
a
tonight.
shit game tonight, dude.
A total shit game.
That's
But
shit
you know what? Everyone will be rooting against the Jets tonight.
I'll watch it. No, I like Aaron Rodgers. I'll root for the Jets.
You know why you like Aaron Rodgers? Is it because you're an asshole? And everyone hates Aaron.
I like an asshole. I like an asshole that sticks to his guns.
Here's Big Sills for 4 years.
Sills, don't give him the secrets, brother. Don't give him the secrets. I like somebody that's got balls and can stick to their courage or their convictions, even when everybody else goes against them. So I do respect Aaron for that, honestly.
Oh, hey, and all of you, go tell your boy Seth Joyner too. Hey, Sills, maybe you were right. Well, I've been right since 3 years now. Okay, now everybody's like, how come Hurts is struggling on rating defenses? Well, he never.
How about John McMullen telling me on Tuesday's show, I've been Sileo-ized.
You've been rackalized.
What's that mean? Sileo-ized? What do you mean Sileo-ized?
Yeah, man. Hey, Xander, where are we on the like list, my friend?
I don't know, brother. Let me check for you. Let me check where we're
Thank
at.
you guys for all the super
206, man, and the supers have been killing it. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Yeah, I would agree, by the way. A lot of people having great comments in the chat today. We've had some great commentary.
Oh, yes.
From Eagle Nation.
Let me tell you, I learned one thing about, and I told Xander this prior to the show. Eagle fans are a little like Yankee fans. Okay. You got a good team, you got a good organization, but here watch this. The guy sucks. Wait, he just gave him 50 minutes. I don't care. He don't pick it up. This thing has gone like this, Xander, like a pancake. Boom, boom. I mean, holy shit. But I love that. You know why?
Look at this, dude. Look at this. Can I just point out how lunatic some nuts are? Xander probably on Musk's nuts too. Right wingers be wild. John, I can tell that your entire scope of how you think about anything in the world, how you relate to another human being, what you're thinking about when you shake someone's hand, what you're like at a family party is all based on one thing.
And the way you walk.
How about add some depth to who you are as a person, John, and think more than just the surface level bullshit. What a stupid comment from John Secunda, who I've never seen, by the way, in the chat ever. I've been doing shows for 4 years. I've never seen this name ever in my life.
John Secunda was a
now he's got to take because he thinks he heard something slightly political.
I thought John Secunda was the singer. Isn't John Secunda a singer or Cicada or Secunda? I don't
know who it is, dude.
Hey, dude, what's that flag? I don't know.
By the way, you want to talk about Elon Musk? Pretty impressive American. He's changed space travel. NASA is now using his rockets to get to space. He buys a social media company. I mean, everybody only cares about the politics. I'm an entrepreneur. I admire a good entrepreneur. He's a great entrepreneur. Very impressive human being. Really changing the world, and probably will be somebody who goes down in the history books as having a big impact on the world. Unlike John Secunda, who sits here and shits on people he knows nothing about things that are inconsequential to the conversation.
John Secunda, Elon inherited his wealth. Not from his father, he didn't.
Oh, yeah. I think he inherited $250 billion. What a dumbass thing.
Yeah. Hey, John Secunda.
Wait. Let's do the Sileo. Get some snowflakes in the chat for Secunda.
Oh, yeah. No, we had a couple. We've had a bunch of them today. Look at them. Here they go.
Come, bring on the snowflakes for Secunda.
There you go. Hey, do me a
crying
favor.
about Elon Musk.
Let's have a snowfall.
Seriously, is that where we are today? We're crying about Elon Musk. I mean, good Lord.
Hey, let's have a snowfall for John Secunda. Hey, John Secunda, it's snowing on you here, kid. Hey, Xander. Great stuff. You tell John I'm coming for him on the pre and post game show.
Oh, I don't know if John's going to be down in New Orleans, so we might have him for the full first hour on the post game. I'm ready to sit there and go, Sills, John, debate, and I'm the mediator.
You know my first one is, hey, John, puffing stuff. What happened?
You better look. I've been trying to get on John. He keeps making excuses for Bryce. He's not ready to go there all the way. That Bryce Huff looks cute. Now
How about Nolan?
He said he hasn't been good. Oh yeah, John knows Nolan. I mean, he says he hasn't done anything. But it's funny. Nolan has escaped the conversation for a large part of the fan base, really, who's talking about this football team. Like, we got a lot of problems on defense, and there's no doubt about it. And there's a lot of players that you can, point at. Nolan Smith should be in the bullseye, and he's not. He's been that crappy that he almost was so crappy that that fans never even put him on their radar as somebody that could be something for the team. That's how crappy Nolan Smith is.
I'm going to admit something here that somebody just posted about the Georgia guys. I said they should draft Georgia guys and SEC guys. I can't be more wrong about them dudes. So I admit it. These guys.
Who are the last
Not
couple?
good.
Look at who are the last defensive linemen from Alabama
Hey,
who were drafted.
I know.
Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and Washington are both.
When's the last Georgia guy on defense that has – name me the guys under Kirby Smart that play in the NFL today from Georgia that have been great on defense? Roquan Smith? Who else?
I don't know. I'd have to bring it up, but I can tell
That
you.
doesn't just pop into your head like it would for like Patrick Surtain and.
Yeah, I mean, look. To be fair, you're still living on the Miami. You're like Miami has more.
Well, I'm living on the Miami guys because every year the Miami guys go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Talk to me in 30 years. That's because they're all retired and out of the league.
Well, Frank Gore's just retired. He's going in.
Yeah, Frank Gore is a special.
Okay, Vince Wilfork's going in.
There's no doubt Miami's had some great players, but give Bama some time for some of those Saban guys to get into the Hall of Fame.
Name me one guy who's going in the Hall of Fame from Alabama in the next 7 years.
Well, I don't know. I'll talk to you in 7 years.
Well, I think the receiver you got. What's his name that the Eagles had last year?
Oh, Julio?
Yeah, I think Julio's going in. I do. I like Julio. I think Henry will go in. I think Derrick Henry will go in.
No, I don't know.
I'll tell you this about Landon Dickerson. You put 15, 16 years in, kid, you might have your shot at it because he's playing great football, dude. He's a really good football player.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I will give you credit. I think does Alabama or does Miami have the most Hall of Famers in
the recent time it has? I think it's SC and Notre Dame.
It is. It's SC and Notre Dame. The Catholics, baby. Gotta love the Catholics. That might piss off. What's his name? What was his name? Secundi or something in the chat. I know you
Cicada.
don't. I know you're a Catholic, aren't you?
Yeah,
yeah, but you don't like the Catholics.
Catholic. I hate Notre Dame.
It was convicts versus Catholics. Baby.
Yeah.
I like
and of course we gave Notre Dame the biggest beating in the history of the program, 58-7. Yeah. How you doing, Notre? Wait a minute, watch this. After that game, I remember a lot of Notre Dame guys doing this, including Mark Navarro. Ooh, ow, ooh.
My only tie to the University of Miami is Mr. Big Sills. So that's swaying me to like the school a lot because I'm a big fan of Big Sills. So I do like Miami, but I do like Notre Dame just because I am Catholic and I love.
My grandfather loved that school too, Notre Dame. I got killed when we went.
I mean, it's a pretty sick school if you scope out objectively. It's a.
If you've ever been there, now one last story before I leave on Notre Dame. This is a true story. My aunt's listening. So they took me on a recruiting trip. This was like, I don't know, 10 feet of snow in South Bend. My next trip was going to South Beach. So I go there. This is back in the day. St. Mary's is across the way, Xander. Say it.
Yeah, right.
Right
there.
Then you have Notre Dame. Well, back then, it was this. I walk in and I go, so where are the chicks? They go, they're at St. Mary. I go, wait a minute. There's no chicks at Notre Dame?
I've heard this story.
And they go, they're at St. Mary's. I go, no chicks, no big sills.
No chicks, no big sills. Big sills walk up out of there.
Hey,
said,
no name on the
back. You got to Miami and you're like, okay, now there's some chicks.
Wait a minute. No name on the back of the jersey, black shoes, and no chicks? Not happening.
Good stuff, Big Sills.
You got it, man. Don't forget to check Xander out with John McMullen, who does a spectacular job covering the Birds. We so appreciate it. Xander, absolutely fun stuff. Don't forget Merrill Reese will join us at 5:30 Eastern time.
So you want to know what I'm leaving with today on today's segment?
Tell me.
So I come on here and I'm ready to turn the page on a shitty Monday Night Football loss. I'm ready to get the faith back in the team. I'm ready to gas everybody up and say, believe, Eagles Nation. And I'm leaving Sileo-ized. All right, I'll catch you tomorrow, bro.
Get you, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody
man.
in the chat. See you guys.
Absolutely. 225 likes. You guys are absolutely killing it. Please hit the like button. By the way, don't forget our fabulous friends at BetUS. We so appreciate the fact that we're tied into these guys, and these guys are our betting partners. We're so looking forward to it. Tonight's game, by the way, New England versus the Jets. Make sure you get in line with that. 150% bonuses on your first 3 deposits of up to $2K. Folks, do me a favor. Michael Vick loves it, plus 200% in crypto bonuses. Log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. Live wagering on all major games like tonight's game with the Patriots and the Jets. betus.com.pa. betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the Birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services. The first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Do you know what the Eagles are working on today? By the way, hit the like button. You know what they're working at today in practice? Fending off cut blocks on the off linebackers. That's a college drill. Oh, my God. You're a professional football player, and you don't know how to defend a cut block. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at your team. Hey, kids, come over here. I want to teach you how to do and defend off a cut block. Hey, how old are you, little Johnny? Well, I'm 10 years old. All right, this is how you defend off a cut block. Let me show you how to do that, son. What grade are you, little Johnny? I'm in junior high. Yeah. Okay, little Johnny, this is how you defend a cut block. Get your hands low, get in a low stance. Make sure you have your hands and you're ripping so that they can't get at your knees, right? Let's go, little Johnny. Holy shit. This can't be real. You teach high school guys that drill. I'm sure Fred Warner's practicing cut blocks in San Francisco. I know Dre Greenlaw ain't ready, but can you imagine Dre Greenlaw in week 3 of the NFL working on defending himself against cut blocks? God. Hey. Somebody took this, so I know I can play it. Took this off the TV set. I got to show you something. I want to show you something. Okay. Can I do this? Let me see. Okay. This is Bryce Huff against the Falcons on Monday. Now watch. Watch it. There he is. Boom. Hang on. Boom. Xander's got high hopes this weekend. Here's the no holds defense. Oh, come on there. Hold on. Boom. Hey, come on, kid. Wait a minute. Now, it's got to get better. Off the ball. Boom. There you go. $51 million. Boom. Wait a minute. $17.8 million. Boom. That's Howie's guy. That's the replacement for Hassan Red. Boom. That's Sean McMullen's guy. Boom. Boom. Oh, man. Woo! How you doing? Man. Jesus criminy. No A.J. Brown. It affects the other side of the ball, too? Hey, Howie. How you doing? Thank you, Brother Hannibal. I love this guy here. Hey, you know what, Brother Hannibal? I don't give you enough love. Come back in there again. Come back in there. Please hit the like button, guys. Brother Hannibal is a very, 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 very cool dude to Big Sills. Thank you. Hey, brother, this guy right here sends me content every day. And I love it. You got a good football mind, bro. I dig it, and I thank you. Okay? Charlie says there's a silver lining. Who, he's Xander's brother? Silver lining. I think the Saints will win. But I've been wrong on both games so far. So does that mean Eagles win? Hey, Charles, let me help you here. You're driving yourself crazy here. Folks, you want to see the sign? You want to see the sign of an insane Eagle fan? I'm going to play as Charlie the Eagle fan battles his own demons. Charlie, lifelong Eagle fan, loves the Philadelphia Eagles. So, as I sit here and contemplate the Saints game, is there a silver lining? Says Charlie. I think the Saints win, but hang on now. I've been wrong on both games. So, okay, there's a positive and a silver lining here. So does that mean the Eagles? That means the Eagles have to win because I've been wrong on both games. Yeah, this is what an Eagle maniac fan sounds like right here. So does that mean the Eagles win? Yes. Because I was wrong on both games, the Eagles win against the Saints. There it is. It adds up. It totally adds up. Saints are, I'm going to bet the mortgage on it. I'm going to bet the mortgage. Maybe because, you know, pick the QB to win and pick the Falcons to lose. Charlie. Yep. I think you need a psychiatrist. Maybe Tony Soprano psychiatrist. Hey, maybe because I didn't get the games right. Yeah. They'll win. There it is. Man. Did you see Xander try? Big Sills beat him back down into reality. You see how I subtly did it too? Just, reel him in. Like really floundering. Okay? Maniac, if you're in here. It's like I'm here, I'm all pumped up. By the end of the show, he's like, shit, we ain't winning shit. Oh, man. Dan, can you be our defensive scout, please? Howie would never take my advice, even though I told you in the last 3 drafts, actually, take Hamilton, take McDuffie, take now Carter or Bijan, still yet to be determined. Okay, still yet to be determined. You know what? Teron Arnold or one of those old linemen I was okay with. All right, I had the D linemen interior-wise. I haven't seen much yet from the young kids. But even Vic Fangio says that Hamilton kid in Baltimore is a special player. Sills, I'm glad you didn't make my wedding toast. Why? Professor, why? I'm great at weddings. Don't you think I'd be great at weddings, Professor? You want to laugh your ass off at the bar? I'd be great at weddings. By the way, me and my buddy Pazzuli and all my friends used to do the wedding crasher thing all the time. Great way to get free drinks. You look in the newspaper on who was having weddings, and you show up to like the wedding thing and you just start drinking at the bar. I've done that. I can't tell you how many times we did that. Hey, right. Xander's got me at his wedding. Damn right I'm there. I'd never miss that. And I don't go anywhere. That I will go to. That's for sure. That I will leave. Mark Holmes, Xander goes like this. Thank God it was a little bit harder for me, but Xander goes, you ain't going up there to see that guy. Xander knows me a little bit too well. Jason, Sills at a wedding. Do you like Brian Flores' defense for the Vikings? It seems to be very unpredictable. I like it. Yeah, I do. I like it a lot, actually. And plus, he's another one of them asshole type coaches. Fangio said it would take to week 8 to figure out. That's right. His players were like, hold my beer. It's week 2. Okay. No. Flexing ain't coming. If Flexing's coming or Prince is coming, I'm not coming. Uh, when people don't have nothing intelligent to say, they should keep their mouth shut. Hey, spoken like a true paisan. I'm trying like Xander to find something positive to hold on to, because the way it looks, Carr and Kamara are probably drooling. See what Charlie's doing now? Hey, if the Eagles do this, since I've been wrong, and I've been wrong, they're going to win. Hey, Charlie by Monday, especially if the Saints put another 40 spot up, this guy's going to be in a basket case. Hey, what will Xander do if it's 45-10? I don't know if hey, if it's 45-10 Monday, I'm not sure I'm doing a show because I don't want to hear it. Damn, Silv, what do we do? I don't know. Hey, man, I feel really awful for you guys because all the shit that I said, it looks – now some of you are going like this. It's week 2. Here, how about this one? So after what you've seen in 8 quarters of football, you think it turns around. Now, wait a minute. Let's pull a Charlie here. You were 10-1 last year. What if you guys are 500 at the halfway mark and you go 10-1 down the stretch? Didn't we say that could be a possibility? I actually said that. Say you were 500 in the first 8 games and you're 4-4. And all of a sudden you rip off 9 wins in a row. You'd be all right with that? I would. That meant you got better. That meant you got better. Hey, you know what though? How about this one? Instead of saying I'd rather lose early, how about I'd rather learn early? Right? I'd rather learn early. Our schedule isn't bad down the stretch. Absolutely. Look at this. Spoken like a true Eagle fan right here, baby. Won't happen. Holy shit. Won't happen. No way. Not happening. Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm supposed to be selling optimism too here, a little bit. Got to have a little optimism because that's what I do. Okay? Are you still going to respond to me? I don't know. I'll let you know later, honey. After early bye week, we'll definitely know what this team is going to do down the stretch. You're right. Absolutely. I agree with that. Guys, please hit the like button. That's how much I bought. Good try, Sills. I'm doing my best. Hey, you know what's really sad? What I did. Who said that? Good job, Matt. Matt, I'm not really good at selling optimism, am I? Hey, Matt, optimism, right? Hey, Matt, maybe they will play better, down the stretch like we, maybe this is what happens when Bryce Huff gets murdered the way he did. And there's an APB out for people that are just have had their way. Seriously, no disrespect to anybody, but the Atlanta Falcons, I heard, are being brought up on charges for abuse of Bryce Huff. I mean, hey, Nolan Smith, like Xander says, think about this. Bryce Huff has been so bad that no one picks on Nolan Smith. So I asked Xander this question. I'll ask you. Who are you more disappointed in? Jalen Carter? Bryce Huff? Jordan Davis? Or Nolan Smith? Look at this guy. Nolan who? Who you been more disappointed with? Nolan, Milcart, and Smith, Jalen Carter, Davis. Is Jordan Davis, hey, I haven't done it yet. Is Jordan Davis a bust? By the way, listen, guys, Merrill Reese is coming on at 5:30. I'm going to make you feel better. I scheduled Merrill Reese for as a psychiatrist for all of you here that are Birds fans. I want you to feel good about yourselves. So we got Merrill at 5:30. Okay? Be nice. Be a lot of optimism. Good things will be said. Hear me. Jalen Carter has been one of the most disappointing things so far this early part of the Eagle season. And you know what it's more disappointing on? Fundamental techniques. Just getting off the ball, creating pressure, being a force in the middle. It's non-existent. I don't know what happened, but it's just not there. Bryce Huff, it's a colossal, disastrous pick as a free agent. Colossal disaster. Okay? Colossal. Jordan Davis. It is 4:54 on the East Coast, September 19th. Are you ready? Jordan Davis is a bust. He's a bust. Oh, yes. Thank you. I love it. That is so great, Abe. Wait, Abe, you keep reminding me on Thursday to do that. We would usually do it on Wednesday. I love that, Abe. We'll do that at the top of the hour. Grades for the players. At the top of the hour. Abe, way to go, dude. Thank you. Do you guys agree with me? Jordan Davis is a bust. Nolan Smith is a bust. Is it too early on Nolan? Or are those two guys that Howie picked bust? Wow. Yes. Yes. It's 11 p.m. Way to go, Chuck. Guys, are those two? Absolutely. Wow. Look at Eagle fans. Charlie, what happened to rookies and young players coming to camp in rock solid shape? Davis needs Winstrel. Too early on Nolan. Bust on Davis. Jordan Davis to Kobe Dean, Nolan Smith. All bust. Sills, I think Davis is a bust. This kills some people in here. Haven't seen this person in here. We appreciate you in here. Absolutely. Wow. Even folks who traditionally don't say anything. I know this pains you. Hate to say it, but yeah. Nolan's trending that way. Forrest is the biggest optimist when it comes to Eagles. He doesn't want to say it, but he knows it's going that way. Do you think they need better coaches? Forrest. So, Sean, Patricia, Vic. You want to do another one? How many more coaches is it going to be before you're sold that it's him? You know what I'm saying? How many more? How many more? Say you fire Vic at the end of the year. Another coordinator? How many coordinators is that going to be? How much blame are you going to pass the buck on from not the front office. Jesus criminy. I pray to God that at the end of this year, if this thing remains the same, you know what? And I don't believe it will. I think it'll trend up a little. To what extent, I don't know. Somebody has got to hold that GM accountable for not being what, you know what? Xander fought me on this. Seth, everyone did, fought me on this. That guy can't pick defensive players. I've been saying it. How long, Xander? 4 years? He can't pick defensive players in the draft. He's not bad at pro personnel. Why? Well, other people have evaluated him. He didn't. He is not a good talent college evaluator. Look how many wide receivers has he drafted to get to Devontae? Tell me. How many wide receivers did he draft that were below average or average to get to Devontae? 6? 5? The Whitesides, the Ragers. So he drafted 4 or 5, says Dez, to get to Devontae. Okay. Not very good averages. Hurts looking like a bust soon if he doesn't pay. Jalen's not a bust. We know who Jalen is. Get this. Look at Ray. Ray. I want to show you something, Ray. All the media haters on Belichick. Okay? Jacoby Brissett has started in the NFL, right? Mac Jones has started in the NFL at quarterback. He got Matt Castle in the 7th round, and he won 11 ball games when Brady got hurt. He never started it down at USC. He went and got Garoppolo. Took a team to a Super Bowl. Of course, he drafted Brady. Do you know at one time all those guys were starting at the same time? So when people say, you know, they haven't been very good at wide receiver, well, they did find Amendola and Edelman and Welker in free agency in later rounds and UDFAs. So all the N'Keal Harry guys who didn't pan out, Edelman and Amendola did. His talent on defense did. Now, I will say this. Who did he have help with? Flexen, Prince. Tell these people who helped him in New England. You know who that was? Nick Caserio. And Nick Caserio is where now? Houston. Nick Caserio was up in New England with him at the back end of that dynasty, helping him pick, and Scott Pioli was at the front end, who helped pick the talent in New York when the Giants were battling for Super Bowls. So he had personnel guys in New England that were helping him. You guys know who Scott Pioli is, right? He's a personnel director, but he's also Bill Parcells' nephew or son-in-law. I think he's his son-in-law. You know who Howie has? He don't have anybody helping him on college scouting. His college scouting is not very good. Now, why does he hit on offensive linemen? He's got Jason Kelsey and Jeff Stoutland. Does he have that on the other side? No. No. But here, Gooby, don't you think that was more Jeff Stoutland pick? Right? Don't you think that was more Jeff Stoutland? John Dorsey was in the building a little bit. Maybe Dorsey had something to do with Jalen being drafted. I know he was there before he went to Cleveland. He put a lot of talent in Cleveland, too. Okay. Yes. Hey, watch this. When you watch the tape, Mekhi Becton's playing well. Cam Jurgens is playing well. Those guys are playing well. Kellen Moore has done a nice job at designing routes. He's done a nice job. It's Hurts not playing great in the passing game. He's playing great in the run game. He's not playing great in the passing game. He's average. Okay? We're going to go through our player grades for week 2 of the NFL. Thank you, Abe. We'll do that at the top. We're also going to talk to Merrill Reese. That'll be at the bottom of the hour at 5:30 Eastern. Where are we on the like list right now, my friends? Where are we on the like list? By the way, I'd love to see if we can get to 300 by the end of the program. Hit that like button for us. You guys have been absolutely great. By the way, thank you guys for blowing the show up. All right, we're 245. Guys, we need 55 more to get to 300. So let's see if we can roll that bad puppy up to 300. Thank you guys so much. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild wood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Eagles. Eagles.
I can't. I'm going to do. By the way, hit the like button. Merrill Reese will join us at the bottom of the hour. I've got to do something here because I can't look you in the face when I say this. So don't mind me, because as a defensive player, this is the most embarrassing thing you can ever say to a unit. Okay? There's two things. And I'm really embarrassed that I have to do this to you. So I hate to be the messenger. You're giving up 6.9 yards a rush, and you're soft. How come no one says it? You're soft. They're soft. You think there's any remedy to be soft? Where are you getting your Viagra pill for your defense? What do you think, your Viagra pill is Vic? Honestly, what's your Viagra pill for your soft defense? Act like a man. Act like a man. Oh, Blue Chew. Hey, can you imagine, Xander, all 11 guys have Blue Chew in their hand? What are you eating? Yeah, well, we went over at the NovaCare, mess hall, and we found out something. You know what it was? Somebody put saltpeter in our cereal, and I'm feeling all revived now because they gave us Blue Chew, Blue Chew. I think that's it. Right? Oh, man. Somehow Sirianni got a hold of the cereal, and he's put saltpeter in it. Yeah. Oh, my God. You're soft and you're getting murdered on the run. Yeah, that's what I need. Hey, Samuel, that's what I need, some rocket fuel like that, so I'll be more off the hook. No, yeah, sure. You know, I've tried giving up Coca-Colas and shit like that because I'm too hyper as it is. Yeah, no. Hey, cocaine and a Blue Chew, right? This guy wants me to die by Monday after the Saints. Make sure if they do kill, hey, Sills, I don't want you on the air Monday. That's what you're looking for, right? Hey, Sills, do me a favor. Cocaine will help you too, and Blue Chew. Really? Help your weight. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's get to the inevitable. You can blame Abe for this too, by the way. Okay. Hey, Sills, I think they have been taking estrogen instead. Oh, man. Kyle, that's a severely low blow to Xander's no-hold defense. Wait a minute, Kyle. Are you saying that those guys on Xander's no-hold defense are doing that? Hey, that's actually a great takedown here. No holes, baby. Xander's back on it. He's there. This is actually not bad. Contracts expire and players age. Hey, 49er, maybe that's it. The Eagles don't have enough expiring contracts. Did you ever think of this for a minute for 22? That's not Xander. Let me roll this into you. Javon Hargrave, expiring contract. Kaiser White, expiring contract. TJ Edwards, expiring contract. James Bradbury, expiring contract. Darius Slay, expiring contract. Huh. Interesting. I never thought of that. You don't have enough guys that are hungry. More like cream cheese, buttercups, side of Swiss cheese. I'm saying more like the Similac defense. Yeah. That's what you got there. Gooby. Sills, after 2 games, I could say our defense's favorite drink is rum and Coke. That's such an old man's drink. I'll take a rum and Coke and pretzels. Rum and Coke and pretzels. Me, give me a tequila shot and a beer. I want tequila shot and beer, guys, not white wine spritzers or rum and Cokes. Hell, I'll have a rum and Coke and pretzels. Yeah. Hey, SOS, where's Devin White? Is he anywhere? What happened to him? Devin White season. All right. Jesus Christ. Do I start with it? No, I'm going to start with the offense. I'm going to make you guys feel better about yourselves. Hey, and wait a minute. It's a great take, Robert. You're paying. Hold on here. How the offense blows, too. Xander won't. He's not giving anything. Hold on here. So, Robert Bradbury is not playing, and you're giving him $11 million, right? Right? Huff's making $17.8 million. It's been a colossal disaster. There's $28 million. You gave $6 million to White. That's $44 million. Hey, question, SOS. Was Gardner Johnson on the practice field today? Was he practicing today, Gardner Johnson? There's $8 million. $53 million. And White's not playing. Bradbury's not playing. CJ's been average at best. And Huff's been a disaster. Gardner Johnson didn't practice today. Oh, that'll be a fun thing if he doesn't play against the Saints. Let's see. Gardner Johnson last year missed 15 games. Right? He missed 15 ball games last year. Played 2 so far, so he's played 3 games in the last 18 games. CJ did not practice. I don't know what happened to Gardner Johnson. Eduardo, I didn't skip your super chat. Oh, maybe I did. If Vic claims to play the better player, why hasn't he pulled the plug on the D line? I can say put Milton, Booker, Bond, Carter, Davis, and Puff. Well, wait a minute. Eduardo, you just paid $5 million or $5 to a question you know the answer to. Here. Jordan Davis is a first-round draft choice. Jalen Carter is a first-round draft choice. They're not pulling those guys. You paid Huff $17.8 million. You're not sitting him. Vic said it today. You're riding and dying. Here's Lane. How do I think Lane played? B plus. Micaiah Becton, B plus. I think he's playing well. You're not losing games because of Micaiah Becton. Or you're not playing inconsistent ball on offense because of Micaiah Becton. Cam Jurgens, the penalties are killing him. But he'll right net. I don't think he's been awful. I think he's been pretty good. Okay, but again, Xander thinks it's more about the quarterback, where he is in the pocket. Could be. Communication issues? Sure. Okay. But I think Cam's been all right. Clean that shit up. I don't know. Here, Lane B plus. I think Becton B plus. Cam B minus, C plus. You want to go there? Dickerson's been great. B plus. Mulata's been great. B plus. O-line's not your issue. Dallas Goedert. D plus. D. Watch when we get to the skill guys. Paris Campbell. I don't know. Incomplete. D. I don't know. Devontae, B. AJ was great against the Packers. A, no show against the Falcons. Barkley, strong A. He's a good football player. Drop the pass. I get it. That guy's going to win you more football games than he is going to cost you games. His only issue, in my opinion, is going to be health. Hurts, C. Get an average offense, and you're still sixth. Look at that. You're still sixth. Which means what? Your offense can improve. It's going to improve when you get AJ back. Hey, by the way, what'd they list him as today? Not at practice? Did not participate. Is that what they listed him as? That's not good. Let's go to defense. Slay. 2 weeks. C plus. Blankenship. C. Gardner Johnson. D plus. C minus. Mitchell. It's unfair to grade him. For a rookie, I think he's done really well. But that's not cutting it when you're talking professional football and evaluation of where your defense is. It's one thing to evaluate him as a rookie. Look, I'm segmenting. And I don't like to usually do that, but he's a rookie, man. I mean, him personally, I think he's a B. But in the scheme, he's a C. Because they did target him in the final drive. But as a player, I'm happy with where he is. I'm okay with him. You know what? Of all the guys on D, hey, you really want a silver lining? I'm totally cool with his play. Did he get beat in that final? Okay, well, he's played 8 quarters of NFL football. I'm not killing that kid. That's one guy on that defense I'm not down on. Here you go. I am not down on Quinyon Mitchell. Has he played better than I thought? Absolutely. He's played 8 quarters of NFL football. Give me your evaluation as him playing totally himself, not in the scheme. B. I'm happy with that. He's learning on the fly. He's got limited talent around him too. So I'm happy with him. Now, in the scheme, C. Okay? I don't mean to hedge it like that, but it's not fair to look at a rookie corner. He's playing the second hardest position on the field, cornerback. That's the second hardest position to the quarterback on a football field, especially professionally. And I have been exceptionally happy with his play. I'm good with him. Nolan Smith, F. Hey, by the way, Zach Bond had a horrible game in coverage against the Falcons. He, not good. Okay, so Zach Bond, look, Falcon game, not Packer game. That was a D+ game. Okay. I could not wait to get our friend Merrill Reese on, and I'm going to tell you why. I have yet to see a city that overreacts more than the city of brotherly love. By the way, Angelo Cataldi came on and said the Eagles would win 5 games. Okay? Okay? So what we decided to do was, as a professional journalist and as the voice of reason of America, what we'd like to do here is give you a balance. Okay? The voice of reason and a maniac like my friend Angelo Cataldi. So what we have done is we brought the golden voice of the Philadelphia Eagles in with us to kind of make all of you, because, as a time here sometimes, I think both myself and Merrill have to be like psychiatrists to certain people. It's done. It's over. Team, we're not going nowhere. How many years have you been dealing with that, my friend Merrill Reese, where
106.
Merrill, 1-1. How are you feeling about your Birds as you head into New Orleans right now?
You want to know the truth? I think the month of September is strictly a probing month. We don't know. And these teams don't play regulars during the preseason. We used to have a pretty good idea because they would actually play regulars for a quarter here and a half there and get them ready for the season. And then the season will begin and we have an immediate impression of what was going on. This is different, Dan. It really is, because there is no action. Jalen Hurts on the offense took no snaps during the preseason, and there are things to be worked out. But that's why you could look at Dallas in week 1 and say, boy, are they good as they killed Cleveland. And boy, are the Lions good. And boy, are the 49ers good. And the next week, all 3 lost. And you look at teams like Baltimore. Well, you know the Ravens are good, or the Bengals, and they haven't won a game yet. So I simply say wait and see. Now, I will tell you that of all the losses that I have done, and there have been quite a few over the years, this one seemed to hurt more than any, because this was in the bag. This was Jalen Hurts lobbing a little pass over to Saquon Barkley that he could have caught. I've heard people say 99 times out of 100. I would say probably 999 times out of 1,000. And it hit him in the hands. Nobody touched him. It hit him in the palms. And the next thing you knew, he dropped it. I mean, he's a human being. It happened. The worst part was the Eagles were unable to stop the Falcons who had just over a minute left and no timeouts. Eagles did take the 3 points. They took the field goal on 4th down, which some people debate because analytics and polls show that if they had gone for it and failed, more seconds would have gone off the clock, and that the Falcons would have had 0.7653 less of a chance. All these numbers, chance of winning. To me, they had to go 70 yards and to score, and not say, just get down into field goal range and tie it. I think the Eagles did it the right way and just did not have the defense they needed to have. That's a concern. Is it enough of a concern right now on September the 19th to say, that's it? This team is going to win 5 games? No, absolutely not. I still think they're the best team in the NFC East. And I still think they have a very tough game in New Orleans and the following week in Tampa Bay. But at some point, this Eagles team is going to come through and be very, very competitive. That's what I think. But they need a lot of help right now. They're not tackling well. And to have a pass rush, you know this, to have a good pass rush, you have to be able to stop the run first and put them into 3rd and long and then tee off. And they haven't shown that yet. And I think part of that is the fact that they don't tackle to the ground. Nobody really tackles to the ground anymore in the preseason. So they have been deficient.
6.9 yards a carry against the Eagle front 7 right now. And
not good.
That you're last in the league right now. And boy, do you believe that you can scheme that up? And I'm going to concede something to you, Merrill. Not having practice tackling and not having been in an exhibition game, I do think that angle tackling and all that plays a factor in that. I do, but not to make excuses there. I'm pretty disappointed in those 2 guys in the middle right now. Excuse me, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. They've got to pick their game up for that team to go far and that defense to be competitive this year.
I agree. I agree. And they're not getting it from the edges either. Bryce Huff, who came over from the Jets, where he had a good season as a pass rusher, not a 4-down player or a 3-down player, but as a pass rusher, hasn't been near a quarterback yet. And you know who the best player, the best player on that line has been?
Brandon Graham.
Brandon
Graham, I'll tell you this. I said this at the beginning of the year. I said, well, the roster spot's more important. You're going to give a ceremonial celebration tour to a guy. They need bodies out there. Hell, was I wrong? That's worth every cent they gave him.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. Vic Fangio said, forget this celebration tour.
Yeah.
He's playing. He's going to be out there a lot. He's still the best defensive lineman on this team.
Let me give you a silver lining in this thing here. I just going over. Yeah, well, here I think there is, and I'll tell you where it is on defense. If you're going to look at the player Quinyon Mitchell and go, Dan, get me in the scheme. First 2 weeks, probably a C, but as a player in only 8 quarters of play, he's a strong B+ for me. And I am exceptionally happy with where that player is in the early part of his career. I mean, Merrill, he looks like a football player who's going to completely continue to improve his game. And especially now I see why Vic was trying to get him in the slot. He was trying to get him in nickel. He wanted him out on the numbers. I mean, he's a really good football player, and there's your future right there in Quinyon Mitchell.
One day he will be an all-pro. I really believe that, and you can see it every day. But you know something? I'll give you a silver lining. I would rather see the Eagles 1-1 and maybe struggle for a little bit right now.
Yep.
And find out where their problems are, then mask them with some crazy wins the way they did last year, and then all of a sudden at 10-1 lose to the 49ers and completely forget how to win, and templates were drawn of how to beat the Eagles. I'll tell you another bright spot. People said last year, boy, it looks like Jalen Hurts can't run anymore. Forget that. I think he had some knee problems or bruises, nothing serious last year, but he is Jalen Hurts. once again. He's made a couple of throws that he shouldn't have made, but he's Jalen Hurts. He's a top quarterback, has the great arm, can run through people, over people, around people. He's going to have a good season. And of course, it hurts that A.J. Brown is out right now.
Oh, absolutely. No question. But I am going to remind my friend here, it's Philly. You can't lose some games early in the year. You can't be 2-2. Merrill, you know how people are going to act. I am with you, because look at last year with Kansas City. They got beat by the Raiders. They were playing like a 6-win team.
Yeah.
But they got to November, they were playing like a 14-win team. They had 11 wins at the time, and you're like, that's how. And you know what, too? If you remember right in the offseason, Fangio said, because someone asked him, hey, how good is this defense going to be? I'll tell you in week 12. I should know by then. That's what – do you think the patience? It's patience.
I asked him the same question. We were playing golf this summer, and he said, ask me in November.
Right. I'm like, you know, it just seems to me that the fan base now, they see this and the loss was disappointing. I mean, how shocked were you with that last drive? No timeouts left. They go right down the field, and then they scored the TD. I mean, you know, outside of the Super Bowl, which was absolutely disappointing, that has to be one of the more disappointing calls in the Sirianni era that you had, where you had that W in the win column.
That was the worst.
Yeah,
that was clearly the worst. But you know what? Sticking up for these fans who are ready to jump off a building after 2 games, they're the greatest fans ever. Anywhere.
Absolutely.
They love that. And the reason is because they are so passionate about this team. They love this team so much, Dan, that if the Eagles win on a Sunday, it could be pouring the next day, and everybody's walking out without an umbrella, smiles on their face. And if the Eagles lose, it can be 70 degrees, a gentle breeze, and everybody's miserable. This town lives and dies with their birds.
I'm going to go to a new bird here. I know he dropped the pass, but boy, I'll tell you, the first 2 games, you know, I thought the Barkley move, and I said to you before, you know, I don't really think he ever lived up to the second pick in the NFL draft, Saquon Barkley. But I'll tell you, man, 46 carries in 2 games. There's 2 backs that, in my opinion, are the Pro Bowl backs on the NFC side, at least. That's the guy you're going to face this weekend in Alvin Kamara. And also it's Barkley. Has he been more than advertised to you, or is this kind of what you expected him to look like in that offense?
I expected him to look like that in the offense because I'm a Penn State fan, and I watched him all through Penn State, and I know how good he is. And I knew what he was running behind in New York, an offensive line that really was never very good. And you put an offensive line in front of him, give him a block here and there, he's as good a back as there is in the National Football League. And I can tell you, now this is not the most brilliant thing that I can say, but I think it's pretty obvious to me that he's the best running back this team has had since Shady McCoy.
Do you believe that Nick Sirianni gets more unwanted heat from the media and from the fans than what is deserved? Or do you think because of the type of job description that he has, it opens it up for that kind of scrutiny? Because, I mean, Merrill, he's kind of put in a really tough position, because if Kellen succeeds, they're going to go like this. Well, see, it's the coordinator. It was Nick a year ago. And if they fail, he's going to get killed because he's the head coach. He's actually almost in a no-win scenario. I don't know if the organization looks at it like that, but you know how fans are going to go. Well, look, Kellen has turned Jalen Hurts around and back into a really elite quarterback. So we know last year it had to be mostly to do with Nick. Yeah, and that means that Kellen, I mean, how do you look at his position and where he is as head coach?
I don't think he's getting killed by the writers. I mean, you're going to second-guess a decision here and there. I'd second-guessed a decision at the beginning of the game when they came down and with their second possession and worked hard to get down, and they had a 4th and 4. I said, you got to take the 3 points here.
You got to take the points.
Nick didn't. But he'll make a call here and there that I disagree with, and everyone else will disagree with. But for the most part, they don't beat him up that badly. The talk shows, The talk shows are the talk shows. And I say that with all respect to WIP, which is a very, very entertaining station, and they do sports talk the right way, but they are doing radio talk where it's the controversy and the phone calls and the fans. It's a circus. But if you're going to coach in the National Football League, you better be ready for that. And I think Nick has thick skin, and I think that he can handle it quite well.
You know, you brought up something about, hey, it's September. Who would have ever thought that the 49ers are 1-1, the Cowboys are 1-1, the Eagles are 1-1, the Vikings are 2-0.
Yeah.
The Saints are 2-0. I mean, you're talking about teams like the Vikings, the Saints, and the Bucks are all 2-0. I mean, it's completely flipped upside down to where Detroit's even 1-1. So I mean, this team this weekend, are you buying that they're that team? 47 in the opener against Carolina, one of the worst rosters in the league. Then they turn around and they wax the Dallas Cowboys almost in a similar fashion. Kamara looks like the player he was 4 years ago. I mean, he just looks sensational. Their old line's playing well. And as you know, Merrill, they got stars on defense on every level down there, from Jordan to the linebacking core. Marshawn Lattimore back there. I mean, that's a good-looking football team. Even Dennis Allen. Merrill, even Dennis Allen gave Tom Brady problems when Brady was with Tampa. I don't even know if he had a winning record against Allen's defenses. How do you look at this game this weekend against the Saints? And are you buying who they are?
Yes and no. They're playing very, very well, so you can only judge them on what you see. If I just woke up from a deep sleep, and it lasted me a couple of years, and I didn't see the number, I would think that Derek Carr was Drew Brees. That's how good he looks right now. He's accurate, he's fast, and he puts the ball where he has to put it, and he leads that offense. He's doing a great job. So I wouldn't take anything away from him, and I wouldn't take anything away from this team. However, I have to see any of these teams for more than 2 games, because I saw this team at times look absolutely unbeatable last year. You know what, Dan, when I watched the games last year, I said that the 2 games that are going to tell you all about the Eagles are the Monday night game in Kansas City and the following week at home against a playoff team in Buffalo. I mean, it was in Philadelphia, but it was
right.
Bills. And I said, those games will tell you something. So the Eagles go 10-1, and you're a little bit worried about certain aspects of it. And they spot the Chiefs 10 points in Kansas City. And then Jalen outplays Mahomes in the second half, and they beat the Chiefs in the rain. And the following week, they come from behind, and Jalen sachets into the end zone in overtime and beats the Bills. So those are wins 9-10. I looked at that team and I said, this is a good football team. They're beating good football teams. They know how to win. And then they lost 5 of the next 6. They were a mess. So, yeah, to go overboard after 2 games. Yes, they're 2-0. They're wonderful right now, but let's wait and see. And the other thing is, the NFL is a war of attrition. You know, I know that if the Eagles had A.J. Brown, there's no question that they would have won that game the other night, because he's such a prolific target. But they didn't have A.J. Brown. And we don't know here in mid-September who's going to be healthy down the stretch. That's a big deal. I mean, the 49ers don't have McCaffrey right now. I mean, isn't
and Debo. And
Debo Samuel too. How long is he out for?
Yeah, right. He's out for, I think, like 3 weeks, they're saying.
See, these are big injuries. These are big injuries. You don't know. I mean, the teams that win stay healthy for the most part, or they're so deep that somebody comes in and replaces one of these stars in a big way. But right now, the Eagles are going to be, I think they're going to be without A.J. Brown probably to the bye, up into the bye, because they play in New Orleans Sunday, and then hamstring, you can't just say, I think he's ready. Let's see. Otherwise, you'll end up missing another month or two. So they're treating it very, very carefully. But that's a big loss right now.
Oh, yeah.
But to go crazy with conclusions after 2 games, positive or negative, in my opinion, is a big mistake.
So you think he's out for Tampa too?
I'm just
I'm not holding your feet to the fire here, but knowing how the organization usually acts here, and he did not participate in practice today. I'm assuming because it's Thursday, that's not a good sign, like you said. That why not hold him out? Why not hold him out through the bye and then come out of the bye with him healthy?
The doctors say, you know what, he's back 100%. He's ready to go. They'll play him. But I think with the bye coming up, they're going to be extra careful.
Rip Van Merrill Reese. That's what we got here. Hey, when you look at the Superdome, I'm trying to figure some of the toughest places to play in the NFL. Lincoln Financial, Denver, Arrowhead. Minneapolis is pretty loud. That place gets loud. Now, the old Hubert Humphrey Dome was kind of a dump, but that thing was loud.
How about Seattle?
What's that?
Seattle.
Seattle is an absolute nightmare. That old King Dome was absolutely crazy. Is this the toughest place in one of the top 3 places that you think tough environment? Because I've played a Sugar Bowl in there and I've played the Saints in there. I'll tell you, Merrill, that place, that roof lifts off sometimes and you can feel it shaking in there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that place. It's a little bit.
Okay, so wait a minute there. Washington, D.C. or the Superdome when it comes to the press box for you, which is more of a dump?
Washington. You know what's worse? There's one worse. There's one worse than Washington, Dan.
What?
Miami, Hard Rock.
No way.
They changed the configuration, and we sit in a corner where a third of the field is blocked out.
How do you see the game? Monitors?
Television. Real time.
Bro, you could stay home and do it.
We did. Last year in the preseason, we stayed home and did the Dolphins game.
So, Merrill, what makes it tough in the Superdome?
I'll give you another bad one. SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. I call it SoFar Stadium. We're in the back of the end zone.
I've been there.
Stand up. There's glass halfway up. It's awful. Awful. SoFar Stadium. I hate it.
Why is the Superdome so tough of a place for you? What makes it unkind to Merrill? You should put a list together one day and put out there your best and worst places you love calling the game.
Best. Well, there's some really good ones. I love MetLife where the Giants and Jets play. I mean, you're on the 50-yard line. You're at the perfect height, and the scoreboards are on the ground behind the. You don't even have to look around.
How about Lambeau?
Love Lambeau because Lambeau's and the seats are fine and the scoreboards are fine and the fans are great. Love Lambeau. Oh, love Lambeau. Look, New England's a great place to call a game. They have that overhang Gillette. You're in a great position to call a game. Soldier Field is a pretty good view too. There's some very, very good stadiums. I mean, Baltimore got worse because they moved us to a corner of the end zone. Pittsburgh's a corner of the end zone. Arizona is kind of a corner of the end zone. The newer the stadium, the worse they're going to be because they want those seats for super boxes. But SoFar Stadium is not a very, very good place. But why? Oh, you asked me again. Why is the Superdome not a good place? The reason is because we used to have a great box there, great press box right there at that mid-level. Now we are way up.
Oh, they went up a deck?
Oh, no. We went up to the roof. We're looking at bugs on the field. We're looking at thumbtacks.
Holy cow, that is so high up there.
Oh,
they used to have it right there in the middle.
See, you go up there and your nose starts to bleed over your spotting board.
Finally, Merrill Reese, I had a birdie tell me that you were at a luncheon. I think it was either yesterday or the day before, and they were honoring you at a luncheon. Was this for the Hall of Fame stuff that you were recently inducted for? Can you tell us what happened?
It was WIP honoring me for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, they were just so wonderful. They really were.
what do you feel when you're in public and how people come up to you and go, I've been listening to you since I was a kid, and generation after generation, Merrill, have been raised with your voice. And, just like Marty Glickman back in the day when I was a kid and all that, you had guys like that personified your youth and your getting older and listening to your favorite team. Does that ever resonate with you that it's been 4 or 5 generations of Philadelphia Eagle fans and Philadelphia sports fans that when they see you and they hear you, that they've grown up with you? I know you respect that, but I wonder how you feel about that personally, because I've not ever heard you say anything about that.
I feel so fortunate. I love these fans. I really love these fans, and the fact that they have responded to what I have done. And I think they're the best. And when they come up to me, I'm more than happy to write my name or take a picture. That's the least thing I can do. But the fact that I hear from people who tell me they remember sitting with their dad who is long departed and listening to me. I mean, the fact that this is my 48th year sounds like a long time. It doesn't feel like a long time, man. I can remember the first games I did when I moved into the booth with 2 games to go in 1977, and Ron Jaworski ran a naked boot to beat the Giants, and Wilbur Montgomery scored the first touchdown of his career. And I can remember a lot of the games, but it doesn't seem like it's that long ago. And I think I've become a much better broadcaster than I was at the beginning. I've become a broadcaster who is not afraid to speak my mind. Now, I'm not somebody who rips players or calls for coaches to be fired. I don't do that type of stuff, but I am honest about what I'm seeing on the field. And the fans know that. When they're bad, I will tell you that they're bad. And everyone laughed at me a couple of weeks ago in the last preseason game. There were 300.
I heard you going off on the Minnesota game.
Yeah, and I said, I had to read the disclaimer. Any broadcaster written without any rebroadcast without the written permission of what is he broadcasting in the NFL? And I said, wait a minute. If you want to rebroadcast this, you need psychiatric help. Honestly.
Merrill, who was the broadcaster before you, and how long did he? Because has this been a traditional thing in Philadelphia where the Eagle voice was there for a generation as well? I mean, how many broadcasters, play-by-play guys have been in the last 60 years? I mean, obviously, probably you have been the most, but was there somebody before you that had that length of time that called Eagle games?
No, I think the longest length of time was about 10 or 12 years.
Wow. So you've
Charlie,
been the longest.
I replaced Charlie Swift in the play-by-play seat in 1977 with 2 games to go in the season. And but over the years,
in the last 60 years, there's been 2 voices for Eagle fans.
Over 60. Well, yeah. Right. Well, Charlie did 14. I think Bill Campbell, who was a wonderful broadcaster, did them when I was growing up, but he probably did them for 10 years. But he also did the Phillies, and he did the Warriors pictures, and did all of that. But the Eagles have been my sole focus for all these years.
Did Harry Callis ever do Eagle games?
No.
Never did. Okay.
Well, the answer to that is yes, because he did them if they came up on his schedule doing Westwood 1.
Okay.
But he was never the Eagles broadcaster.
Did Facenda ever do anything locally with the Eagles?
Never did play-by-play.
Oh,
Facenda was a newscaster.
Yep.
He was a news anchor for every night on Channel.
He wasn't a sportscaster. He was a newscaster.
The newscaster. He was a news anchor.
Wow.
Popular news anchor, and NFL Films hired him to read a script, and he was wonderful. There was nobody better. The frozen tundra of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I grew up with that guy and in the Sables. They great
newscaster, and there were several other broadcasters. There was a wonderful broadcaster named Byram Som, who did the A's, the Phillies, and he did some Eagles games too. But I think Bill Campbell did a number of them, probably 9 or 10 years, and Charlie probably did 9 or 10 years, and Bison might have been doing 12 years, 2 years here, 3 years there, but no, 48 is the longest stretch by 4 or 5 times.
Wow. Did you ever call a game at Franklin Field?
Yes, I did, but they were Penn games.
Okay. Did you ever call a Giants game at the Yale Bowl?
Yes. No. I never did a Giants game at the Yale Bowl, but I did Penn games at the Yale Bowl. I did University of Pennsylvania football for 2 seasons, and
please tell me Beck Nerick was in the booth with you.
No, I'm not that old, but you know, Chuck's career ended in '61, but I did know Chuck very, very well. But I went throughout the whole Ivy League with Penn, and then I did a lot of Big Five basketball, so I traveled around the country, and I did 1 year I did Penn, St. Joe's. I did Penn, St. Joe's, and Temple. No, Penn, St. Joe's, and LaSalle. I did all their road games and some of their home games. So in the off season, I would be jumping on from one plane to the other. So I did a lot of college basketball. I never did.
Did you ever do Big East?
No, I did Big East if they were playing one of the other teams.
Okay.
You know what? When I was in college, Dan, you're not going to believe this, and I went to Temple University and majored in communications. By my second year as a sophomore, I was named sports director of the student station. So they put a broadcast line at the Palestra. And I said, enough of this, just going down there to do Temple games. We have a broadcast line. So I went down there and we did every college basketball game played at the Palestra. So in other words, I did a doubleheader on Wednesday night. I did a Penn game on Friday night. I did a doubleheader on Saturday night. So those were the Big Five teams: Penn, St. Joe's, LaSalle, Villanova, and Temple. And one Saturday, I found out that there was a high school, the public league had their playoffs. So I went down there on a Saturday afternoon, and I did a high school triple header, ran out, had some pizza, and came back and did a college doubleheader that night. That was 5 games. So I literally did hundreds of basketball games.
St. Joe games? Ever do any of those?
Yeah, I did all the Big Five teams. All of the Big Five teams. I mean, when you had the Holy War between St. Joe's and Villanova, these were great games. I love these games. I still love these games.
I've had the coach. His name escapes me. And he always came on. The Italian guy that coached St. Joe's for all them years.
Oh, Martelli.
Oh, he used to come on all the time. I loved listening to him. And then I got a chance when I started my broadcasting career to meet Rolly Massimino out in Vegas when he coached UNLV. I didn't know him when he coached Nova, but what a personality that guy had.
Oh, Rolly they were great. They were great. I mean, I go back to Harry Litwack.
Then you had Don Chaney. So you had all those guys. You had all them dudes at one time in college basketball in the Philly area.
Tell you something. John Chaney was unbelievable. I had him as a JV coach at Overbrook High School where I went. And then of course, years later, he replaced, it was Harry Litwack, who's in the Hall of Fame, then Don Casey, then it was John Chaney, who took over for many, many years. And he was, oh my God, I love John Chaney. I mean, it was great. John Chaney was absolutely.
He turned Temple Hoop around.
Well, Temple Hoops was very, very good for a long time. Even when Harry Litwack was there, he had them in the Final Four one year. But I mean, they were great for many, many years. They had a lot of great coaches down there.
Merrill, you sound like you loved calling basketball as much as you did football, and you had a great time calling college basketball.
I had a great time calling college basketball, but I can't tell you that anything excites me as much as calling Eagles football. Nothing. I mean, I loved it, but my number one passion is Eagles football. and that there's no doubt about that. But I loved going college basketball. I did college baseball. I did Temple baseball. I did I did the Broad Street Run from a flatbed truck. I did that. I did radio tennis. I did
what?
I did radio tennis.
What was that?
Well, when they had the U.S. Pro Indoor, the Spectrum.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I remember that back. Was that Virginia Slim stuff?
I did. Well, that they had a big tournament. Virginia Slims came in too.
What were they called? They were called the Philadelphia Freedom.
Philadelphia.
Right.
And now I was their telecaster, so I traveled around the country with the Philadelphia Freedoms, and I would hit with the players.
Wasn't that Billie Jean King and all that too?
Billie Jean and I were great friends. Billie, we went all over the country together with the Philadelphia Freedoms. I did their television, and I loved it. I was a tennis player. I was a very competitive tennis player, not world class, not in the class of those guys, but I was a college level tennis player.
Well, that Virginia Slims and that.
Well, the Virginia Slims was different. That was the ladies' tour at that time.
That was huge, though, to get women's tennis up and running.
It did.
That had a lot to do with like where they are today, because Billie Jean started that.
Billie Jean King is the single most important person in the history of women's sports.
Wow.
Yes, she was the one who took them through the dark ages and gave them close to equality. Billie Jean King meant more to women's sports than any person who ever lived. She was a great person, and we used to have debates all the time. We're in San Francisco. Okay, you'll appreciate this. We're in San Francisco to play the San Francisco Rackets or whatever they were. And we're sitting in the coffee shop in the morning. And Billie believed that women were held back because people did not give them the positive attitude as little girls that they deserved. And she said to me that if women were treated the right way, the same way that men were treated, they could compete on an equal plane with men. And I said, Billie, that's not right. I said, there's a certain physical difference. And at that moment, her brother walked into the coffee shop, and her brother was Randy Moffat, who was the pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. And he was 6'5", and he could touch the walls with either hand. I said, example A. But Billie Jean she is. I don't want to make her.
Then she turns around and plays Bobby Riggs and beats him.
And this was after that. We're walking through an airport, and we can't get through an airport because people, this is the year after the Bobby Riggs match, and people are running over to Billie Jean for autographs. She said, I can't walk anywhere. And I said, Billie, you'd have a better chance getting through an airport if you weren't carrying 5 rackets.
Merrill, thank you.
This had more fun, Dan.
Oh my God, what a great life! What a great. People always say, you've met so many people in your life, and I'm like, Merrill, isn't it great just to live your life and things people. I know Billie Jean King. I've seen and been involved with this and the Philadelphia Freedoms and Temple and the Eagles. I love getting you on. Thank you so much for doing this. We always have a fun time. Thank you, Merrill.
She was the single most important woman in the history of sports.
I got it, man. Thank you so much, Merrill.
Okay.
Have a great call.
Thank you. Take care.
The great Merrill Reese. We so appreciate that. That was a lot of fun. That was an absolute lot of fun. Guys, do me a favor. We really appreciate you guys so much. Please hit the like button. Great stuff. Football Friday is tomorrow. Xander, Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip.